Hey, this is Dr. Mark Whitlock, pastor of Reed Temple AME Church right here in Glendale, Maryland. Welcome to Reed Temple, the James A. Parker Lay Organization Social Action Committee Candidates Forum. It's today that we have an opportunity to share your views, to share your points of interest, to share your thoughts about the future of Prince George's County. We are excited that you're here. We look forward to hearing you with bated breath. Let's have a great time today. Let's reshape, let's remodel, and let's reinvent ourselves here in Prince George's County. God bless.
Greetings. Welcome to the Candidate Forum, sponsored by the James A. Parker Lay Organization of Reed Temple AME Church and our Social Action Committee. I'm Paulette Armstrong, president of the James A. Parker Lay Organization at Reed Temple. We are proud to present this event. This is the first of 4 forums, which will be held prior to the election. The candidates you will see today are running for the office of the sheriff and the county council, districts 1 through 9. Voting affects our community. Every vote counts. Our ancestors fought hard for the right to vote. So remember to register to vote and vote on Election Day. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the program.
Good afternoon and God bless. My name is Nikki Thompson, member of the James A. Parker Lay Organization Social Action Committee, and I have the true honor of introducing our moderator for the afternoon, my very esteemed colleague and friend, Miss Jessica Kinkosa. And this is truly a full circle moment for me as we've met coordinating expungement clinics in the district. She is the executive director of Community Legal Services of Prince George's County. So she has more than enough knowledge to guide us in this conversation this afternoon, and was most recently named one of Maryland's top 100 women. So we are truly blessed, and it is truly my pleasure to turn it over to Miss Jessica Kinkosa.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Nikki, for introducing me, and thank you to Reed Temple for including me in this program. We will begin as quickly as possible so everyone will have the opportunity to speak and hear from our sheriff's candidates, which is who we will begin with first. First, we will have John D. Carr. Then we have Elliot W. Gibson. We have Dave Grogan and Sylvester Jones. To begin, our first question will be your opening statement. Why do you want to be sheriff, and what makes you uniquely qualified? John Carr, you ready?
By thanking the Reed Temple AME Church and the James A. Parker Lay Organization and the Social Action Committee for hosting such an important event and allowing me and other candidates to speak on our platform. My name is John D.B. Carr, and I'm a proud product of Prince George's County. I am a 20-year veteran of the Prince George's County Office of Sheriff, and I want to serve you as the next sheriff of Prince George's County. I worked my way through the ranks of the Office of the Sheriff as a native of Suitland, Maryland, and going to the University of Maryland, receiving my undergraduate degree in criminology and criminal justice, and receiving a master's degree in public administration from Norwich University. My commitment to the community and my experience and training here at the Office of the Sheriff puts me in the position to lead this organization and to make sure that the county can move forward into the 21st century as we develop and deal with social issues such as law enforcement reform, as we deal with issues such as the rise of crime, as we deal with issues such as domestic violence and mental health. As we start to move forward and we talk about a public safety race, the sheriff is an integral part of the public safety community. In order
Yes.
Next, Elliot Gibson, are you ready to present and the question again is, why do you want to be sheriff, and what makes you uniquely qualified for this position?
Thank you. To the moderator, Chairperson Cosby, honored guests, members of the Reed Temple AME Church, friends and candidates, let me say good afternoon. My name is Elliot Warren Gibson Sr., and I am a candidate for the office of the sheriff of Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm a native Washingtonian. I attended the Washington, D.C. public school system. After graduating from Eastern High School, I attended the University of the District of Columbia, where I majored in criminal justice. The question is, why do I wish to be sheriff of Prince George's County, Maryland? And what makes me uniquely qualified? The sheriff is the senior law enforcement executive in Prince George's County. The office of the sheriff is the second largest law enforcement agency in Prince George's County. My background includes 40 years of experience, knowledge, and education in law enforcement and public safety. I have 30 years of teaching law enforcement officers constitution law, criminal and civil law procedures, and the laws of arrest, search, and seizure. I have held executive level law enforcement positions for over 25 years, including being a director of public safety, senior project managers, and served as the police chief in 2 separate jurisdictions. I have the distinction of being one of the senior law enforcement executives in the state of Maryland. Later, I'll go into detail about some of my accomplishments. My campaign theme is, we can do more. Vote Gibson for sheriff in July 19th, 2022. I yield my time back to the moderator, Ms. Quincosa.
Thank you. And next is Dave Grogan. Same question. Why do you want to be sheriff, and what makes you uniquely qualified?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and thank you. I'll speak very quickly. First of all, I think I want to thank the Pastor Whitlock, and I want to thank this entire staff, Ms. Cosby, Ms. Moody, all of you all for this level of professionalism. I am a stickler for professionalism. I also think it's important that we recognize the outgoing sheriff, Mr. Melvin High. We want to thank him for his service. I believe I stand on the shoulders of the former sheriff, or the current sheriff, I say, Mr. Melvin High. So I want to publicly thank him for his service. I am David Grogan. I am your candidate for police and law enforcement reform. I am from Glass Manor, graduated from Oxon Hill. I'm a proud United States Marine. I am a Bowie State alumni. I currently serve on the Bowie State University National Alumni Association Executive Board. I actually started my career while I was a student at Bowie State University. I started recruiting students while I was a student. I started recruiting for the Secret Service. My brother currently works for the Secret Service, who I recruited. I have an extensive history in recruiting law enforcement and corporate security professionals. I served 25 years with the Department of Justice, United States Marshal Service, and retired in 2013. Post my retirement, I'm actually in my third career, politics being my second. I'm a corporate security manager. I have almost 10 years of corporate experience. What sets me apart from all of my opponents is I have extensive corporate experience, military, corporate, and the background in education. 23 out of my 25 years, I served in a leadership or management position. I've managed local, state, and federal law enforcement, which makes me uniquely qualified to be the chief law enforcement for Prince George's County as your sheriff, and I ask for your support. I thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll have Sylvester Jones. Same question. Why do you want to be sheriff, and what makes you uniquely qualified?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvester Jones. I'm running for my third consecutive campaign to be elected sheriff. I want to continue to serve in law enforcement and serve my community and bring some of the skills and the knowledge I have to our community. I retired from the U.S. Marshal Service at the Senior Executive Service 4 tier. I was the first African-American Deputy U.S. Marshal to make Assistant Director, Senior Executive. reaching the third level of command in the entire U.S. Marshal Service, a grade and rank synonymous with a 4-star general or admiral. I retired to run for sheriff my first try in 2014. I am also a retired decorated colonel in the U.S. Army, serving in a combat zone in the Gulf War as a military police officer. I am also a former police officer, having served 4 years as a policeman and detective. Since retiring, I have served as a substitute part-time teacher for 2 years. I served on the board of directors for a Prince George's County community-based organization for 4 years, chaired their public safety committee, authored a book, Hunting Criminals to Hiding Them, and I serve as a law enforcement expert for CNN. I ask voters to vote for me as our next sheriff, as we do not need more of the same. I am a change and results-driven candidate, and the only candidate that has a distinguished military veteran background, a graduate of the Federal Bureau of Investigation's National Executive Institute, created hundreds of new law enforcement positions for sworn and non-sworn personnel, and who has successfully led $1 billion budget. Electing me as your next sheriff will bring needed, proven change, dynamic leadership, and creation of new law enforcement initiatives to help make our county safer. I am known for creating new enforcement programs leading to safer communities around the world. My accomplishments in creating innovative new law enforcement programs are easy to verify, and the Judicial Conference of the United States Committee on Security and Facilities issued me a resolution commending my leadership to the federal judiciary in the area of judicial security, adding that I added immeasurably to the current and future security of the federal court system. Lastly, with your vote and voice, working together, we will enhance law enforcement safety and security for all communities in our county. I have the proven experience and know-how. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we will be moving on to the Sheriff Candidate Forum questions. We will, if Mr. Carr's tech is fixed, we will have him come back to discuss his opening statement again. But first, we'll talk to each one of our candidates and discuss these 2 questions. For each candidate, you have 30 seconds, or I'm sorry, 1 minute to respond. So our first question is, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a backlog of pending evictions. How do you see the role of the sheriff's office in addressing the local eviction crisis? Mr. Gibson? You need to unmute.
Thank you. I appreciate the question. The office of the sheriff has a duty to fulfill the obligation of following orders of the court for Prince George's County. It is of the utmost importance to be mindful of the fact that a lot of other agencies are directly or indirectly involved in this eviction process. I will ensure that the property managers and/or landlords receive timely written notification whenever there will be a scheduled eviction that may be delayed. Also, the chief judge of the district court will be notified in writing when manpower constraints delay the processing of a court order. There are over 278 deputies who work in the office of the sheriff. We will endeavor to deploy some of those deputies who ordinarily do not work in the eviction unit. For example, I will redeploy at least 10 deputies from the Upper Marlboro and Hyattsville court facility to assist with evictions after court hours. Initially, we will ask for volunteers. We will perform brief in-service training so that everyone has a good understanding of the mission. We will pair an experienced deputy with a deputy not normally assigned these duties. I will require a daily recapitulation of our efforts in accomplishing our goals.
Next, Mr. Jones, or I apologize, Mr. Grogan.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for the question. That is that's a great question, and it's a sensitive topic. Evictions is one of the main functions of the office of the sheriff. I do have experience actually supervising evictions and actually executing evictions as a supervisory deputy United States Marshal. So I am aware of the sensitive nature of evictions. Our role with the Sheriff's Department is to execute the orders of the court. I will do everything I can to ensure that our residents have all the information that they need. There are so many resources out there to our residents. Unfortunately, many of our residents have no idea of programs and different things to support them. But let me be very clear. The Office of the Sheriff is a law enforcement agency. It is not a social service department. And so we will handle our role, but we'll be mindful, and we will handle our role with the level of sensitivity that I think is necessary for our residents.
Thank you. Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, you're still muted.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that. That's the problem. We're going to mute. Sometimes you go right into it without unmuting. So my apologies. As both the gentlemen have said, evictions are important missions, and they're coming from a judge. They're a court order, so their court orders must be followed. They are part of the law. Unfortunately, we have evictions. That's the least. That's the part of the job that I like or embrace least. And I've also had to evictions, and I've always tried to have compassion. And when possible, I would try to afford people and families more time. And I would try to do the same thing and lead by example. I believe that one of the things that one of our platforms is community engagement. So we will host listening sessions and town hall forums because, as Mr. Grogan said, there are a lot of programs out there that our citizens can tap into to help with their situation. Again, one of the other things I would do is you have to go back and look at if there's a backlog, you start at the end of the backlog. And also you want to make sure that those evictions are still valid. Some of them may not be. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is, what is your vision for improving employee training and development within the Sheriff's Department, including civilian employees? Mr. Gibson?
Thank you for the question. In case I didn't mention it earlier, I'm a certified master trainer, and I've been training employees in the Washington metropolitan area for the better part of 30 years, law enforcement specifically. As your sheriff in Prince George's County, I am committed to ensuring that the Office of the Sheriff is professional, well-trained, mission-focused, and community empowered. As a result, I am proposing the following initiative. I intend to establish a professional development institute within the Office of the Sheriff. There will be certificate programs which include topics like sensitivity training, de-escalation training, stress management, leadership training, active threat training, use of force training, autism and mental health awareness, first line supervision, evaluating employee performance, as well as union agreement highlights. My vision is to tie these professional development initiatives to the promotional process, as well as create incentives for various job openings that may become available. I will establish a program that's titled the Training Topic of the Week program for civilian and sworn members. Under this program, staff members will call in on a number, provide a PIN number, and they'll receive a brief topic about some training matter. And it's a no-cost program that allows individuals to get training without having to leave their work area. That concludes my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you,
Mr. Grogan, same question.
Yes, you mind repeating the question?
Sure.
Please.
Not a problem. What is your vision for improving employee training and development within the Sheriff's Department, including civilian employees?
Yes, I am thank you for the question. It's a great question. Training is a really high button topic for me. I am a stickler for training. I am a stickler for all forms of training as a well-trained Marine and as a well-trained supervisory deputy United States Marshal. I think, first of all, we need to evaluate what type of training our employees currently have. Within my first 100 days, I will conduct an audit of all the training files to get an idea of what current training our current employees have and what I can do to improve. I can be quite candid and tell you that I do not support of law enforcement officers graduating from a community college and never having certified police training and becoming law enforcement officers. I am a strict proponent for law enforcement training. Class at a community college does not equate to a certified law enforcement police academy. So I will ensure that all of our deputy sheriffs have the proper training, and they will have advanced training, and will have ongoing training. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, I will repeat the question. What is your vision for improving employee training and development within the Sheriff's Department, including civilian employees?
Thank you again. I had the mic off again. But one of the things that I always do when I come into a new chief executive or senior executive leadership position is I always do a needs assessment before I enact anything. And so, but I'm a huge proponent of training, and I have conducted training programs, created training programs for personnel under my leadership, found funding for those programs, and some of those programs, I think all of them are still in existence today for my former agency. That's how effective they are. Training is critical. I think in-service training is just as critical. And you definitely want to have a professional development program for your personnel, as the military and even most agencies give you training as you move up the ranks to prepare you to take on that next position. And then there's also some things called on-the-job training. But there's other training sessions that you can find that are virtual that don't cost much. I'm familiar with some of those, and I will be seeking some of those. But training is very important. And I think Mr. Gibson talked about that mental health awareness focus, and that's something that I'll be bringing as the next sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe Mr. Carr is back and able to do his opening statement again, since he was having some tech issues. They're supposed to be letting him in. Give me 1 second, and then we will be moving to closing statements. Each one of the sheriff's candidates will have 2 minutes for their closing statements. But I believe Mr. Carr is back and he can redo his opening statement. Unfortunately, we're still having some issues, so we will just move on to our sheriff's closing statements. Each one of the sheriff's candidates will have 2 minutes to let us know anything they were unable to cover during our Q&A session and their opening statement. First, we will have Mr. Gibson.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate the introduction. While campaigning for sheriff in the Woodmore Town Shopping Center, a gentleman approached me and asked the question, "Why should I vote for you?" Without saying a word, I took my cell phone out. I showed him several photos. I showed him photos of Mr. Gibson teaching 2000 Wise High School and Flowers High School students best practices for interacting with law enforcement officers. I showed him photos of 7 years of conducting shopping sprees with children less fortunate. I showed him photos of several years of domestic violence awareness summits that I've held throughout Prince George's County. I showed him photos of the chief hosting several seminars for parents relating to missing children. I showed him a plaque that was awarded to Elliot Gibson, the chief of police in District Heights, for being one of the most progressive police chiefs in the state of Maryland in 2016. I showed him photos of a National Crime Watch group, Safe Streets USA, recognizing District Heights and Chief Gibson for being one of the safest cities in the state of Maryland for 3 years. Our employees are our most valuable resource. As such, elected public officials, managers, and supervisors have a duty to ensure that the employees under their care are trained and certified, and they perform their duties professionally. When they fail, we fail. We are vicariously liable for the actions of our employees. We at the Sheriff's Department will aggressively pursue grants through the local government trust, the state of Maryland, and federal agencies. We will provide strong, well-trained individuals. This is my pledge to the citizens of Prince George's County. We embrace the 21st century policing best practices. We will embrace the Maryland Police Accountability Act of 2021. If I'm elected, I will serve with distinction. Vote Elliot Gibson, Sheriff, Prince George's County. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. And next, we'll have Mr. Grogan with your closing statement.
Yes, and thank you so much, Jessica, for moderating. And again, thank you all. And I want to thank these candidates. I think we've got some outstanding candidates. I want to thank them for their efforts. We've heard a lot of going on and what's going on in law enforcement. I think it's time to move law enforcement in the 21st century. I think it's time that we start reimagining law enforcement management. Prince George's County has paid out over $54 million in police misconduct settlements, police brutality, all these different things. That's the result of questionable law enforcement management. The training, the vetting, everything within our law enforcement needs to be revamped, needs to be restructured. When I am your next sheriff, I can assure you that we are going to have programs for our young people, that we're going to teach our young people what good law enforcement looks like through cadet programs, through internship programs, through cooperative education programs. We are going to get back to community policing, serving and protecting. No more militarization, no more over policing, no more police brutality when I am your next sheriff. I ask you all for your vote. I am David Grogan. I can be reached at davegrogan.com. I'm happy to give my cell phone number. My number is 301-651-9178. My email address is groganforsheriff@gmail.com, and I can be reached on all forms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all forms of social media. I look forward to your support. And again, I want to thank you all for this time.
Thank you, Mr. Grogan. And next we'll have Mr. Jones for his closing statement.
Thank you, Ms. Cancosa, for being a great moderator. I appreciate it. In closing, I want to thank the voters for your attention this afternoon, Reed Temple, AME, and the James A. Parker Lay Organization for, again, hosting this important sheriff's candidate forum. I have lived in our county for 26 years. I love our county and deeply admire the sheriff's office. I will work hard to enhance the sheriff's office in personnel and functions with the focus on enhancing safety for all county residents. I will engage and listen to the members of the community, including working and collaborating with community leaders, which is important. We will continue to have listening sessions like we have now and host town hall forums in partnership with communities across our county. Our campaign platform is number one, child safety and school security, something that I've really have a passion for, and making sure that the security protocols are up to par. Law enforcement and crime reduction, which includes mitigating domestic violence, working to reduce that tremendous warrant backload they have at the county's sheriff's office. Number three, community safety and engagement. Again, just getting involved with the community, which is important, listening to what the residents have to say. And something that the sheriff doesn't have a lot to do with, we will be advocating for quality healthcare improvement and vaccinations. We want to make sure everyone is safe all the way around. I will provide a fresh set of well-qualified eyes our sheriff office needs and deserves. Our county needs and deserves this as well. We do not need more of the same. We need fresh ideas and innovative, improving leadership. I often say the true test to what someone says they can and will do is if they have done it before, and if they have the tool chest of skills, experience, and knowledge to do what they say they will do. With your prayer, support, and vote, we can bring needed change to the sheriff's office and our county and law enforcement community. Please join the citizens to elect Sylvester Jones for sheriff by supporting our campaign and voting for change. New energy, fresh ideas. Visit our website at votesylvesterjones.com. Lastly, as the late 35th U.S. President John F. Kennedy said in a quote, "Sure is a big job, but I don't know anyone that could do it better than I can." Please vote Jones for sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And now we have Mr. Carr who will
There
present
appears
his-
to be some technical difficulty, so I'd like to thank for having the opportunity of going back and answering the questions that the other candidates were able to do. So question one, I believe, was due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is a backlog of pending evictions. How do you see the sheriff's role in addressing the local eviction crisis? Before I was unable to actually give my resume and exactly what I've done as the assistant sheriff and bureau chief here of the Office of the Sheriff, which consists of our landlord-tenant division. We've actually worked with partners in the Prince George's County, from the nonprofits of CASA to the Department of Housing, in order to, and also our landlord and tenant, civilian homeowners association groups, to actually work with them to provide information and provide resources to those tenants who were facing eviction. We were able to actually mail out notices that provided documentation, numbers, legal counsel, in which they can actually refer themselves to and actually receive payment for those evictions. During this COVID-19 pandemic, we understood that individuals lost their families, they lost their jobs, and we actually showed empathy and wanted to work with our citizens to make sure that they were not wrongly displaced or evicted. One thing that we also did was we provided information to our local municipal governments so that they can actually provide some additional resources for those individuals. I believe question number two is, what is your vision for improving employee training and development within the Sheriff's Department and civilian employees? Well, in order to develop that, one, we want to start with having a grant writer. We want to bring in federal funding in order to assist us in providing training, not only just to our sworn personnel, but to our civilian personnel as well. We also want to develop those civilian and sworn personnel by working with local agencies, such as the Prince George's County Police Department, such as our municipal organizations, and work with them so that we all be on the same page and we be very productive. I understand that we had some technical difficulties, and I do apologize. I was unable to hear and actually see. But if you could you please go to my website and collect more additional information in reference to John Carr, and that website is www.voteforjohncarrforsheriff. And I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. And thank you to all the candidates for sheriff for being here today. We wish you good luck in your future campaign. Next, we're going to transition to the county council session. Reed Temple has invited all of the candidates to attend today. District 1 and District 5 candidates are running unopposed, so we are not asking questions, but we did invite them to send a recorded message. We did not receive a recorded message from Tom Dernerga, County Council Member, District 1. We did receive a message from Jolene Ivy, County Council Member in District 5, which you will hear later. In District 2, District 7, and District 8, only one candidate responded to our invitation, so we are not asking them questions and invited the one responding candidate for each district to send a recorded message, which you will hear later. For District 8, we did not receive any response from your newly elected incumbent County Councilman Edward Burrows. Only two candidates responded from District 9. We did not receive any response from your incumbent County Council Member Sydney Harrison. And next, we will watch a video.
Here Hello, Reed Temple. My name is Wanika Fisher, and I'm a current Maryland State Delegate for District 47 and the Assistant Majority Leader in the House of Delegates. I'm now bringing my service back home as a candidate for the Prince George's County Council District 2. District 2 on the County Council includes the areas of Mount Rainier, Brentwood, North Brentwood, the city of Hyattsville, Chilham, my hometown Lewisdale, Adelphi, and Langley Park. I have a record of results. In Annapolis, I was able to lead on police reform to create new standards across the state. And here at home in Prince George's County, our county executive looked to me to chair the subcommittee on compliance. I also help families facing eviction. Maryland is the first state in the country to have right to counsel for low-income Marylanders when they're in eviction proceedings. And I help to bring back billions of dollars in state aid to Prince George's County. As the scripture tells us, for whom much is given, much is required. As the next county councilwoman of District 2, I plan to work hard to clean up our community from trash and improper dumping, a focus on affordable housing, and to help small businesses grow and prosper as the Purple Line is built throughout our community. If you want to find out more about the campaign and support us, please follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Wanika Fisher, or go to my website, www.wanikafisher.com. Thank you so much for having me as a part of your candidates forum today.
We want to thank Ms. Fisher for submitting her video for her District 2 campaign. For District 1, the current County Council member, Tom Denurga, is running unopposed, so he will continue to serve as the County Council member for the next term. We did not receive a video from him. Next, we will move on to District 3, and we have our candidates standing by. First, I would like to introduce Eric C. Olson. Good afternoon, Mr. Olson.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Next, we will have Eve T. Schuman.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. We will also have Ms. Sia Fino. I believe she'll be joining us in a few momentarily. But to be careful with everybody's time and considerate, we'll keep moving, and then we'll have her speak as soon as she arrives. So to begin, we'll have each one of you discuss or introduce yourselves with a brief opening statement. You have 2 minutes. Mr. Olson, if you'd like to begin, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm Eric Olson. I served District 3 on the County Council previously for 8 years. We have term limits, so I've been out of office for 8 years, but I've continued to be active in the community. I led a community development corporation around College Park, around the University of Maryland. And worked on economic development, community development, walkability, schools, making our community a better place. And on the county council previously, I always worked very closely with our neighborhoods on quality of life issues, safety issues, strengthening our communities. And I was able to get and facilitate getting about $500 million worth of redevelopment around our transit stations, including at New Carrollton Metro Station and around the College Park area and throughout the area. I'm a strong environmentalist. I believe in making sure that we have a green environment. I've gotten a lot of trails built. And I look forward to serving again on the county council. We've made a lot of progress, and I want to keep that progress going. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the further questions.
And I apologize, I meant to ask as part of your opening statement, if you could please tell us what your plan is to improve constituent services.
Thank you. I wondered about that. So I was always very strong service. In my previous 8 years, I hired a staff that was lived in District 3 and was from District 3, so they would see things in their in our community. And they were always passionate about improving constituent services, and we were always very responsive to the community. I want to, in particular, work on the Department of Permitting Inspections and Enforcement. I would actually love to see a staff person within DPI, as it's called, be sort of a point person in every council district, so that we can have someone that is specific to our district who can, work on the issues in our neighborhoods. And I've always worked with our neighborhoods to make sure that our neighborhood associations are strong and collaborate with us and our partner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Ms. Schuman, there you are.
Here I am.
So same question. What's your plan to improve constituent services as part of your opening statement?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And thank you to Reed Temple AME and Pastor Whitlock for hosting this. My name is Eve Schuman. I am running for County Council in District 3. And if I've knocked on your door, I've said this: I'm a mom, I'm an attorney, I'm a former U.S. Senate staffer, and I'm running because I care about people and I want them to be okay. I am a first-generation American. I was raised by immigrants who came here from Haiti. I was raised by a single mom and my grandmother, who taught me what it is to be of service. It was our duty. Our household was the household in our community that newly arrived people from Haiti and the Dominican Republic would come and stay with us, whether it was for one night or for a year. And our job was to help you get on your feet. And so, that is what planted the seeds of service within me. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. I then went on to Cornell Law School, where I was on the Cornell Law Review, the Death Penalty Project, and the Child Advocacy Clinic. I graduated at the age of 24 and practiced in family law for 6 years, where I represented folks in divorce and marital situations and in issues of domestic violence. But that call for service really just drew me. And in 2016, I left a successful legal career to work on the Hillary Clinton campaign. And since then, I was working with Senator Chris Van Hollen. And in regards to constituent services, that's actually what I did for the senator. I was a constituent service liaison before being promoted to regional director to Prince George's County. And I'll tell you, and this is something that I have known even being from a small child when I was, interpreter and liaison for my family, is people simply want government to work for them. People simply want government to actually work. And so, as a county council member, constituent service is going to be an absolute priority. That's the job. The job is to represent the people. So it's not just showing up every four years. It's about showing up every single day. It's about being in the community, knocking on doors, even when there's not a ballot, keeping those avenues of communication open. And for much of this district that doesn't have a mayor or municipal leader, your county council member is your first step in government. So making sure that I am always available to do the work of the people is a top priority. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Fino. We now have Ms. Fino here, and she will also be discussing her opening statement, which is, what's your plan to improve constituent services? Hi, you're still muted. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to thank you for having me here. It's an opportunity and an honor to be here. I'm actually a member of Reed Temple AME, so I'm actually happy to be here. My name is Cia Fino. I'm running for Prince George's County Council District 3. I'm sorry I did not get any questions like my other opponents had. Nobody sent any questions for me, but I'll try my best to answer the questions. I am running because Prince George's County is my home. I am a product of Prince George's County school system and Prince George's County. I've been here since I was 13 years old. I'm from Sierra Leone. I came during the war. I'm a refugee. in America, and this has been my home. I had 2 children here, which I've already raised. My son is in the military right now in the U.S. Army, serving our nation. My daughter just graduated from college. She's in California, Berkeley University, trying to figure out what she want to do with her master's degree in biology. And I have a 7-year-old that I'm going to raise right here in Prince George's County. Prince George's County made me who I am. I cannot give up on Prince George's County. We have so much. It is time for change in Prince George's County in District 3. We have the human resources, we have the capital, but the organization and the lack of inefficient government, our integrity, our transparency, and have been compromised. This is the reason why I decided to join, to involve myself in politics in America, because this is my home. When something is broken in your home, you don't wait for an outsider to come and fix it for you. You jump in and see what you can do. And I believe in inclusivity. I believe in representation. All of us have to be represented. Prince George's County doesn't belong to one person, one demographic. It belongs to each and every one of us that dwell in Prince George's County. This is another reason why I am in the race. And if my son, my only son, my firstborn, can take upon himself to serve our nation, to pick up arms to protect us while we are here sleeping, and they're out there fighting and protecting our democracy, it is best for me as well as the mom, as a single mother, to get in and see what I can do on his behalf, on the behalf of so many of our men and women that are serving, on the behalf of single mothers, on the behalf of the whole population of Prince George's County. I am in there. And I was a representative, I was a legislative aide in 2016 with Senator Exum. So I've been in this race for a very long time. I am not new to Prince George's County. I was a legislative aide. I corresponded with the constituents in District 24. I wrote letters. I testified on bill reparation per se. So I have been here. This is my home. I've volunteered. Even one of the candidates that has not even supported me, I volunteered for him, Senator, our former executive Baker. I helped him, elect the third time he was running. I was the African liaison that campaigned for him. I was the African liaison for Congressman Albert Wayne for District 24. So this is my home. I'm invested in this community. If I can allow my son to serve the nation, I am very invested in America, in Prince George's County. So this is the reason why I decided that I have to get in and do something for our people. Our people want to be served. They want to be represented. They want to have a voice. We too want to sit at the table where decisions are made. And I'm honored. I am so honored to be a Prince Georgian. I am proud. Prince George's County is so wealthy. We have to change the narrative of Prince George's County. People have to come. We have to, maintain our workforce, our young workforce. We have to maintain our elderly that grew up, that built this community. We have to protect them. We have to empower. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. We're on a time crunch, but
Thank
I will say thank you to your son for his service, and I will be reading now 2 questions for the Q&A session. So everyone will have the opportunity to answer. You will have 1 minute for each response, and I will go around to each one of you. So for the first question, Ms. Vino, this is for you. From constituents Riverdale Heights and Riverdale Hills, what is your experience in helping communities create civic associations so residents can work together to improve their quality of life?
Like I mentioned before, this is the first time I'm hearing the questions. I didn't have the opportunity to get any of the questions, so I'm going to do my best to answer the questions. Like I said, I've been involved in grassroots campaign. I've been involved in the community. I think communication, having access to communication, making yourself accessible to the residents and trying to bring them together so we all can work as one. I think that's the best way that we can be able to, have a community development or community association that can represent itself within the city. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be out there working with one-on-one. That's why I go out there and personally, when I go, I just don't put my flyers or my my yard sign in people's yard, I go in their home. They invite me in their home. I sit and speak with them and hear their issues, their concerns. And this is how we're all going to be able to work together and be able to fix our Riverdale Heights and Riverdale. I don't know much about the question, but this is my little 2 cents that I'm giving you. Thank you.
And I just wanted to clarify, as far as I'm aware, the questions weren't provided before. So these are questions for everybody. And I'll repeat it again for Mr. Olson. So from constituents in Riverdale Heights and Riverdale Hills, what is your experience helping communities create civic associations so residents can work together to improve their quality of life?
Yes, thank you. So my first 2 years in office, I spent a lot of Saturday mornings. We went to every neighborhood in the district, District 3, and we would meet constituents. We did a mailer to everybody, and we would meet, and we'd have a little bit of a town meeting. I call them walking town meetings. And I'd have residents walk me through their neighborhood and show me the types of things that needed improving. Part of my, I think that being a council member, at least in my view, is not just about being a legislator and writing laws and that. It's also about being a community organizer. And that's how I've always taken on the role. So actually in Riverdale Heights and Riverdale Hills, I knew that they didn't have an organization. And so I worked very closely with the neighborhood to form a civic association. They're going strong. 82 meetings later, they're going strong, and it also helps to build all the relationships with the county agencies. Same thing in Seabrook Acres. They didn't have a civic association. I worked very closely with them and brought together neighbors, and they're going strong now. So that helps us to do our job, and it's a more sustainable way of empowering neighborhoods so that they have the tools themselves to make improvements and to engage with their government. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. And now, Ms. Schuman, same question, and I'll repeat it. From constituents in Riverdale Heights and Riverdale Hills, what is your experience in helping communities create civic associations so residents can work together to improve their quality of life?
Hello, Riverdale Heights and Riverdale Hills. Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, I think that for such a large swath of District 3, it's a cluster of communities that are unincorporated. And so civic associations are going to be, really, really helpful in making sure that the community issues and the community voices get heard. And I know that for many civic associations, the pandemic was really, really tough. Folks couldn't come together. A lot of things became virtual, and it was hard for people to connect. So I know of several that have become defunct and that aren't as active as they once were. I know that Seabrook Acres, unfortunately, is one of those associations. And I think that part of the issue there is that we're not really building a bench of new leaders. We need to look at our next generation of folks, those parents with young kids at home, those millennials and Gen Xers, to really take up that mantle and get them engaged and involved. And this is why I think that it's so important to keep up the knocking, to keep up that community outreach after everyone's ballots have been cast, because that's how you can identify that generation of new leaders and bringing them into the fold, so that when things happen, we continue to maintain that connection years and years to come. So thank you.
Thank you. And our next question is for Ms. Fina. What is your plan for engagement to uplift and resolve resident concerns related to the Purple Line construction? I'm sorry, you're still muted. Ms. Fino, you're still muted.
Like I mentioned before, I'll respectfully say I never received the questions, but I will try my best to answer the questions. Can you repeat it again, please?
Sure. So our question is, what is your plan for engagement to uplift and resolve residents' concerns related to the Purple Line construction?
Well, I was one of those that was really against the purple line, because I believe that anytime that the government want to break up the community, they bring they divide the community and destroy community. They bring a project that will divide our community. I know, yes, the purple line is going to bring, another sense, is going to bring economic development, but I was really against it, that it's going to divide the community. People have been living in that area for years, their homes, that's their homes. I know, yes, they're going to give them money to move to somebody, but that's the neighborhood that they've developed. For us to just come and put a purple line through it, I was against it, but that's mine. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And next, Mr. Olson, I'll repeat the question. What is your plan for engagement to uplift and resolve resident concerns related to the Purple Line construction?
Yeah, thank you. So, it's similar to what we talked about before with civic associations. It's continuous engagement. It's being in the community. It's making sure that residents know that they can call the office, the council office, and get me, as I always, was out there. I would do the same things that I did when the Purple Line was first being planned. We didn't have the issues and the problems that happened in Montgomery County in part because my office, we had engaged our communities all along the Purple Line corridor. We made that a priority. So we were out in Hanson Oaks. We were out in West Lanham Hills. We were out in East Pines. We were in Riverdale Heights and Hills. We were in, the entire length of the Purple Line, which runs significantly through District 3, and we brought the Purple Line planners and engineers out to meet and extensively and answer questions. And those are the types of things that we need to continue to do. Also, we will see development around the Purple Line, and I want to make sure that that development is consistent with what the community's wishes are, and that to protect the community and make sure that it's community serving. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schuman, same question, and I'll repeat it. What is your plan for engagement to uplift and resolve resident concerns related to the Purple Line construction?
Yeah, I think the Purple Line is a wonderful project. I think it's going to really, really elevate the community and the county, and it's going to bring a lot of much needed dollars to Prince George's County. But I think first and foremost, we need to make sure it gets done, and it's done in a reasonable and timely manner. And this is where having state and federal support and connections is going to be very, very helpful, so that we can make sure that that the project gets funded and the project gets finished. This is where I place in a plug for making sure that we get in a Democratic governor, and so please vote on July the 19th. But also it's going to be about engaging the community regularly. I think that for development in Prince George's County, what has happened is that there's been a lack of transparency. People feel like things are happening and they're not happening with their say-so, with their input. And I would push for having a citizens advisory board with regard to these major projects, so that we have a group of residents and business owners who are going to be impacted, and the goal for that board is to watch, observe, advise, and disseminate that information. And I think that if we have that it's non-political, it's not partisan, but it's there, I think that would be very, very helpful and would really create more transparency and more of a community voice. I think that with any and every relationship, communication's key. So I will absolutely be pushing for that. So thank you.
Thank you. And now we have some time, 2 minutes for each one of you to give us your closing statement. Anything that you would like to highlight or were unable to discuss while you were presenting in your questions. Ms. Fino, it's your first. I'm sorry, you're still muted.
I want to thank you so much for having me here, even though I'm a little bit, displeased about the way I was, treated. at this forum, not getting the questions that all other candidates have received. But I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm a people's servant. I am here to serve the people of Prince George's County. I think we need a representation, inclusiveness in Prince George's County. Everyone needs to be represented. I pay taxes here. My family pay taxes here. Every demographic pay taxes in Prince George's County. It's not just for the few. And I think that we are one people, one community. Everybody, each and every one of us need representation. And my name is CF. I'm running for Prince George's County Council, District 3, and I am reaching out to each and every one of you. This is a democracy that we live in. Let democracy works. Let us allow democracy to work. Let our elected officials don't pick who the voters they want, but let the voters do the picking, who they want to be represented. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being with us this afternoon. And thank you again to your son for his continued service. Next, we'll have Mr. Olson with.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Reed Temple for hosting this forum. This is really terrific to allow people to see and hear our candidates. So, I have the experience. I know how to get things done. I've done it. I've worked across our entire district for the benefit of our community. We do have a lot that's coming up in the future, and the Purple Line is a big part of that. And we need to make sure that we're doing the right things and engaging the community. That's my track record. I've increased economic opportunities across the district, and especially focused on transit-oriented development at New Carrollton and around the College Park Metro Station. But the Purple Line also brings us opportunities. I want to make sure that we preserve affordability and that we're not pushing people out of neighborhoods. That is critical that we do that. I want to continue to increase walkability, trails, sidewalks. I've done that work. There's a lot more work to do. There's more infrastructure that we need to improve. We need to make sure that we're using the federal money wisely and that it is getting to the communities that need it the most. We need to prioritize equity across our communities and ensure that our schools are getting the funding that they need. We're in a competition with our entire region. And I want to make sure that we're improving our county agencies as well, especially our DPI, Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement. As people are trying to build their small businesses, they can't be held up for months and months and months. We need to make sure it's more efficient and that it's more user-friendly. And we also need to make sure that we're sensitive to our environment. Flooding, climate change is real, and we need to continue to work to address the effects of climate change all across our district. We're looking to the future. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. And again, I'm Eric Olson. My website is electericolson.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. And now, Ms. Schuman, you have your opportunity for your closing statement. Anything that you weren't able to highlight or address earlier, feel free.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to clarify that I wasn't giving any questions at all either. I don't think anybody was. I just wanted to clarify that. And I want to thank Reed Temple for hosting this forum. If you've ever run for office, you know that the hardest thing is to make sure to get the word out. So this really, really helps us all out and helps the voters learn more about us. And I just wanted to touch really quickly on some of the things that I want to work on. I want to work on this increase in crime that we're seeing. We know, unfortunately, that it's a lot of young folks who are committing carjackings and really other awful things. And so the focus for me is one in dealing with it in the short term and in investing in community policing, but then in the long term on ways to help our young people, whether that's through sports, whether that's through employment programs and mental health services, so that we are making sure that our streets are safe and our residents feel and continue to feel safe. I also want to work on bringing more affordable and accessible childcare into Prince George's County and to District 3. I myself have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we are a double, both spouses working. And I know so many people, especially during the pandemic, who have really, really struggled to find adequate and safe childcare. And then finally, I think that as a county, we really absolutely need to work on economic development and helping our small businesses come into the county and stay and prosper here. I would push for, and this was mentioned by Mr. Olson, but I would push for an audit of DPI and the Office of Central Services, because we know that from business owners, it has really become a hindrance. And so as a campaign, I will tell you that we are doing very, very well. We have knocked 7,000 doors. We have raised over $100,000. I have outworked, I have outraised, outknocked, and outworked my opponents, and I look forward to having your vote on July the 19th. And for more information about me, you can go to eveschuman.com or eveforddistrict3.com. And yes, I hope you all have a wonderful and hopefully dry day.
Thank you, Ms. Schuman, for your time. And thank you to all the candidates for District 3. And at this time, we will now be transitioning to candidates for District 4. And unfortunately, my time as moderator has come to an end. I really want to thank Reed Temple for including me, and to Nikki, our now new moderator, for taking over for me and including me in this program. It was a great afternoon spent with learning more about the candidates, and I look forward to hearing more from them in the future.
There's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, lay behind the stone. You live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. Crucified, lay behind the stone. You live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. Like a rose trampled on the ground, you took the fall and thought of me above all. Like a rose trampled on the ground, you took the fall. Thought of me, oh, you took the fall. Thought of me, oh, you took the fall. Thought of me above
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, Nikki Thompson taking over as moderator for Jessica Kinkosa. And thank you to her again for moderating the first half of our candidate forum. We are going to move on to District 4, and we have 3 candidates for you that will start with their opening statements and also answering the question of what's your plan to improve constituent services. So we have Michael S. Steve, Ingrid S. Harrison, and Patrice Murray. And I'm going to turn it over to them to do their opening statements. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon. I am Ingrid Harrison, and I will bring experience, commitment, and the passion for helping people to the County Council. As a resident of Prince George's County for over 27 years, I have demonstrated experience through my work as an at-large council member for the city of Bowie by working only in the best interest of Bowie residents. My work on the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee to ensure you have the information you need to cast your vote. My work as government affairs manager for Children's National Hospital, working with state legislators and bringing back $1.5 million to support the work of our hospital. My work as a workforce development professional, where I worked with the CEO to establish Employ Prince George's, the workforce engine for the county, creating jobs and training programs for returning citizens, people with disabilities, and other residents with barriers to employment. And more importantly, my 10 years working in the District 4 office of the County Council. My vision is based on 4 pillars: smart economic development, education and workforce, safe and healthy communities, and environmental sustainability. What makes me different from other candidates? I have already served 10 years in the District 4 office as staff and will hit the ground running. And I have built solid relationships with federal, state, county, and local officials and brought back results. I will continue listening to you, lead with integrity, and forge a path based on your needs. In regards to constituent services, I will facilitate a top-down approach to constituent services by setting up a District 4 community league consisting of community leaders, HOA presidents, public safety officials, and heads of county agencies to meet and listen to neighborhood concerns and issues and resolve problems. And through community meetings and surveys to the residents, I will share proposed legislation to get resident feedback and let you know where I stand on the legislation and how I plan to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. And next we have Mr. Steve. Please join us.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having us today. I'm Michael Esteve. I just go by Mike. I'm a lifelong Bowie resident. I attended Prince George's County Public Elementary and Middle Schools, Tamatha Catholic High School, and Loyola University, Maryland, where I double majored in political science and French. My goal was to be unemployable in 2 languages. After college, I went to work in finance, growing small businesses in and around Bowie. I then transitioned to the nonprofit sector, where I still work supporting kids and adults with intellectual disabilities. In 2015, I was elected to the Bowie City Council. There, I've worked for 7 years protecting green space from overdevelopment, fighting the maglev train, developing a first ever municipal solar program, and improving parks and pedestrian safety, and all of that without once raising the property tax rate. I'm running for Prince George's County Council because I want to continue to fight overdevelopment. I want to bring higher quality businesses to our communities, and I want to ensure that every student in our county receives a world-class education. I really appreciate your time and Reed Temple's work putting this together today, and I look forward to our conversation. You can learn more about me and my platform at michaelesteve.com. For constituent services, this is something that I've been doing for 7 years, and my approach is really straightforward. I put a lot of my time and energy into going directly to people, talking to them, asking them how their lives are going day to day. I publish one of the largest newsletters in the city of Bowie with a significant following right now, with weekly updates on everything going on in our community. I'd want to continue to do that at the Prince George's County Council level, just to maintain good communication, keep people in the know, and also facilitate the kinds of interactions that can generate constituent service work and help people solve local problems.
Thank you, Mr. Esteve, and thank you also for correcting the pronunciation of your name. My apologies. Next, we have Mrs. Murray. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Reed Temple for putting this on today. Good afternoon. I am Patrice Murray, your candidate for County Council District 4. I look forward to sharing my vision with you this afternoon as I earn your trust. I am native Prince Georgian. I live in Collington Station in Bowie's J section, and I have served my community at all levels of government. My goal is to make you a part of the county decision-making process. I will be taking you with me to the county council. This goal will ultimately improve constituent services. My vision includes smarter development for our community, working to create a better quality life, increasing civic engagement, meeting regularly with our civic groups, improving county cleanliness, creating standards for infrastructure maintenance, compliance with the county's own climate action plan. And believe it or not, the county does have a climate action plan, and a plan to make all county schools high performing. I don't have titles. I have been working in this community for over 35 years without seeking elected office. I am honest, professional, experienced, and most importantly, I am one of you. You have a choice this election. I am Patrice Murray, your candidate for County Council, District 4. Thank you.
Thank you again, Ms. Murray. And so now we're going to go into questions. We're going to go in the same order as you gave your opening statements. And also just a reminder that it's 1 minute to answer the question. And so your first question is, what is your vision for community and economic development as the community continues to grow? And we're going to start with Ms. Harrison. You are muted, Ms. Harrison. No problem, no problem.
Okay, I apologize. All right. So my vision includes working to increase our commercial tax base by offering incentives, including the County Economic Development Incentive Fund, to bring in more employment and businesses, and to work with those businesses to hire Prince George's County residents. I will support using and maximizing federal, state, and county resources to increase funds to existing down payment, rental, and mortgage programs, as well as get rid of student debt as a qualifier in order to purchase a home.
Thank you. Mr. Estad. Do you need me to repeat the question? I can do that.
No, you're all set.
Wonderful.
So the development process in Prince George's County has been broken for a very long time. Let's be real. We got a lot of politicians from Prince George's sitting in jail right now because they've been accepting bribes over the years from developers. And now the process has moved where it's not illegal so much anymore, so much as developers are simply finding other ways to kind of legally get the county to do what they want. So at 214 Central Avenue, a developer is building 1,800 new homes in a project that the county voted to give $30 million of our tax dollars to support. This developer is very rich. They did not need $30 million to build what is going to be a very profitable development project, but the county gave them that. The county constantly uses its resources, our money, and its lawmaking powers to create special exemptions for certain connected developers to get what they want. And the projects aren't the kinds of mixed-use housing developments around rail and trails and that are more multimodal. They're just clear-cutting forests and putting down new subdivisions and adding congestion to our roads, diminishing the quality of life for existing residents. So on the Bowie City Council for the last 7 years, I have successfully worked to preserve green and open space. I have stopped multiple development projects that were going to clear-cut forests because we found leverage to use to prevent the developer from being able to move forward. I want to bring that energy to the county council to make sure that the development we have works for us, brings high quality businesses, improves community, and doesn't just detract from the quality of life for everyone else.
Thank you. And Mrs. Murray.
Thank you. My vision for community and economic development involves making our communities attractive to all businesses, especially small and minority businesses. I will introduce parallel infrastructure bill, which will increase the number of police and fire personnel in accordance with the percentage of increase in development. I will also institute a business opportunity billboard. What this means for you is a better quality of life with increased business opportunities, both for business owners and local shopping options. It means a sense of peace with increased police protection in our communities and on our roads, especially with the onslaught of road rage these days. And it means shopping without fear of carjacking and returning to your homes as you left them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now on to our next question, which is, what strategy would you use to ensure that future developments include expanding public transportation access and walkable communities? We're going to start again with Ms. Harrison.
Thank you. My strategy includes assessing existing infrastructure, such as our roads and bridges, to ascertain how they will withstand current and future climate challenges. I will work with community planners early in the process to discuss their plans for green space, sidewalks, bike paths, tree canopy, energy efficient buildings, and ease of access for public transportation. I would support rapid transit programs like the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit Project and the Purple and Blue Lines. I also support the further creation of transit-oriented developments so people can live, work, and access restaurants and entertainment in the same space. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Estelle.
Yes, this is actually something I have a lot of experience with in Bowie. So I created in Bowie a multimodal and public spaces committee. They're a group of volunteers, engineers, and planners, and their whole job is to review development projects that come before the city council and to focus on multimodalism, public spaces, right? Making sure that new development is going to be walkable, bikeable, connected trails, connector rail, so that when you do have development, it's contained, it's not just adding cars to the roads, and it makes it easier for people to get to mass transit, to be able to easily get to and from work. They also work to try and ensure we're bringing in higher quality businesses with the new development that comes in. Part of the challenge is the county's gotten in the habit of building first and worrying about infrastructure later. We got to flip that and make sure that we are thinking in advance about how people are going to be able to move around these spaces before we develop. That's something I've actually done in Bowie and something that's very doable at the county level. What you have to have, though, are county council leaders who don't belong to the developers. Let's be real. A lot of developers like to write campaign checks. So in both my city council races, I never accepted a cent from developers. I was 100% resident funded. In my current county council race, I don't take a penny from developers. All the funds that I've raised come 100% from residents.
Thank you. Mrs. Murray.
Thank you. Well, I'm just going to piggyback right now because you've heard me as I've knocked on doors say that I'd take 50 cents from everybody before I take a dime from developers, because I do not and will not take money from the developers. But a perfect example for us to look at the way that change needs to happen in the way we development can be seen right here in South Bowie. And I understand that this is not all about Bowie. We've been talking a lot about Bowie, but this is about Greenbelt. This is about Glendale. This is about Upper Marlboro up to Leland Road. A perfect example is what they've done with, as Mr. Esteve mentioned, Amber Ridge and South Lake. They have saddled these two developments right here in our backyard without thought of the transportation that is necessary for these people to get around. I will introduce smarter development policies that include community input and infrastructure growth that is parallel to the planned development that's going up. Additionally, introducing policy that developers with mixed use projects will have to provide a percentage of retail opening right along with their selling their residential units. What this means to you is that development will both address your community needs, like quality retail and infrastructure growth that matches development, like improved roadways and additional police and fire personnel. Thank you.
Thank you again to all of our candidates for answering our questions. We're now going to go to closing statements. I want to remind everyone that you have 2 minutes for your closing statement. We're going to go in the same order again, starting with Mrs. Harrison. Ms. Harrison, I apologize.
No problem. Well, I just want to say thank you to the Reed Temple AME Church, James A. Parker Lay Organization Social Action Committee for hosting this forum. As you heard, I'm proud to bring over a decade of government and community experience as City of Bowie at-large council member, Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee member, Government Affairs Manager for Children's National Hospital, workforce development professional, and 10 years of engagement in the County Council District 4 office. My preparation and collective experience has equipped me for this journey to be your next District 4 County Council member. Please visit my website at www.ingrid4district4.com. I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Mr. Staub.
Thanks so much for Reed Temple for putting this together today. I really appreciate the conversation. This election season's nuts for folks. We have folks running for office at every level. There's probably going to be 30 candidates on people's ballots. Most of them are going to be new. What I tell folks is really straightforward. Over the years, we've heard candidates make the same kinds of promises over and over again about schools and development. For me, my platform's not a series of promises. It's a series of problems solved. Things I've actually gotten done in Bowie, things that I've demonstrated can be achieved in the 7 years that I've been on the Bowie City Council, in the previous 8 years that I was a local activist. The fact is, we can absolutely improve the business climate in our county. We can fight over development. We can improve local schools, and we can make this a county we're all proud to call home. I have the experience. I look forward to connecting with more folks over the next 2 months. You can learn more, connect with me, or contribute at michaelestev.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. And then we have Mrs. Murray.
Thank you. Thank you again to Reed Temple, and thank you to the audience. It has been my honor to meet with you this afternoon, and I do not take this opportunity for granted. I am actually humbled at the support that I've received as I've gone door to door, meeting and reconnecting with some of my neighbors in District 4. I want you to know that I am the best candidate because I am the most experienced at all levels of government, federal, state, and local, because I am a leader, because of my professionalism and integrity. You will have confidence that I will represent you well in public, because I'm already doing the work and I am effective at it. And most importantly, because I'm listening to you. Help me take our concerns and ideas to the county council to create a county that we all deserve for the taxes that we pay. Together, let's ensure development in our neighborhood fits our needs, that our quality of life includes a safe environment and walkable communities with quality retail. Go with me to the county council so that our voices can be heard as an engaged community. I can't wait to hold responsible parties accountable for cleaning our county and ensuring that our infrastructure keeps up with its growth. Together, we'll demand compliance with the Climate Action Plan. And we will raise our voices in demand that all Prince George's County schools provide options that engage our children in STEM programs and others. Your confidence in me says it's time for a change. And Patrice Murray is that change. Thank you for your time, and I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
And thank you again to all of our candidates that joined for District 4. We are now moving on to District 5, and Jolene Ivey, County Council member for District 5, is running unopposed. Therefore, the incumbent will continue to serve as your District 5 representative. Please listen to the recorded message from your District 5 County Council member, Jolene Ivey.
Hi, I'm Jolene Ivey. I represent District 5 on the Prince George's County Council, and for the first time in my political career, I am unopposed. So this is like the best thing ever. I did still want to come speak to you and let you know what I've been up to and what my plans are going forward. So I've been trying to stay in touch with constituents and represent your views. And that means that when some of my colleagues try to slip in a property tax increase in the middle of the pandemic, I help raise the alarm, inform you, and get that tide turned so it did not happen. In addition, last fall, there was a map for the county council when we have to go through redistricting at the same time that the census comes out. The new map that my colleagues presented was in no way like the redistricting commission's map. And I opposed it. A few of my other colleagues, or I should say, a few of my other colleagues also opposed it. We lost. We lost to our colleagues, but we won in court. So that was the good news. And the map did go back to the redistricting commission's map for county council districts. So I was very happy about that. The other things I've been working on, one thing I'm particularly proud of is the Prince George's Child Resource Center has a Family Connects program now, something that did not exist before. And I was very involved in getting that started. And it provides home visits from a registered nurse to new parents in Prince George's County. So if you have a new baby, you are eligible. It is not income-based. So I hope that you'll take advantage of it. And it's a great way to connect people with services. If they meet with you and they find out that you need a little more help, then it's been a wonderful way to get new parents the kind of support that they need. I've also been involved with things like food trucks. I know food trucks won't change the world, but if you're the owner of a food truck and you're trying to make a living, it's really hard to do so in Prince George's County. And I'm doing all I can to lower the fees and to expand where they can vend. And I think that's great for the citizens as well, because who doesn't love a food truck? So there's been other pieces of legislation I've been working on. One thing that I'm got on the burner right now, I'm working on that I've had some struggles with. I have to tell you, you might have to call some of your county council people and help with this, is consolidated storage, the self-storage facilities. I really think we need to do more to limit where they go and what is in them. So right now they're just big warehouses and they seem to pop up willy-nilly and everywhere, and I can't take it anymore. And I want to make sure that they are sited in more appropriate locations and that they also provide some other amenity, like maybe office space for a startup or for a nonprofit. Something else other than a big warehouse. So anyway, those are a few of the things I'm working on, and I hope that you'll stay in touch with me. My email address is jivey@co.pg.md.us, and my cell is 301-437-8394. Please text me first. Thank you so much, and thank you, Reed Temple, for putting this on.
His goodness, for his mighty acts, for his excellent greatness, for waking you up this morning, for starting you on your way, for clothing you in your right mind, for food on your table, for clothes on your back, for the activities of your limbs. The fact that you opened your eyes this morning is more than enough reason to give him glory. Everything that has breath, every person, even the wind and the waves obey him. Even the trees praise the Lord every time they swing in the wind. Everything means every living thing on earth ought to praise the Lord. It's not a greeting, y'all. It's a command that you ought to praise the Lord our God. Because if we had 10,000 intentional. Do as you were commanded. Give God glory. Give God praise. Because if it had not been for the Lord who was on our side.
Good afternoon again, and welcome back as we move into District 6. The candidates that we have with us this afternoon for District 6 are Walla Begay, Barbara Holt-Streeter, Denise G. Smith, Belinda Queen, and Nakia R. Wright. They're going to begin with their opening statements. Just to remind you, you have 2 minutes, and we'll also answer the question of what's your plan to improve constituent services. And we will begin with Walla Begay. You are muted, and just a reminder to the candidates to unmute before you begin.
Sorry about that. Thank you for having me today. Thank you to Reed Temple for having me. I was actually a member of Reed Temple for many years. My name is Walla Begay. I'm an attorney and activist. I have been in Prince George's County for over 20 years. And my first act in Prince George's County when we moved there right before college, when I got involved in college at University of Maryland, was working in the General Assembly, working on laws that impact the community. So I've been doing this even before then. My parents were very active in the community, even before we moving from Washington, D.C. to Prince George's County. But even when I was in college, I was very active working on laws that impacted Prince George's County. And I did that right after college in the General Assembly. And I also worked with Congressman Steny Hoyer, worked with the Young Democrats. But I decided that I wanted to be able to impact laws. I wanted to be an advocate to change laws in the community. So I went to American University, Washington College of Law for law school, and came out and hit the ground running. I started a show, Chat with the Lawyer, to connect residents with legal information. And I started that in collaboration with the City of District Heights and an organization, Attica Foundation, based in Prince George's County. And we worked on a lot of issues, including when there was mold in the school at District Heights Elementary School. We worked on that issue, making sure that parents had lawyers for some of the issues. We worked on many things. My recent project was in collaboration with Aisha Braveboy, a state's attorney, when we found a predator in our community caused a woman to lose her home. So I'm taking this my advocacy, and I want to make sure that we can improve things in Prince George's County, as I've done for many years for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Barbara Holt-Streeter.
Good afternoon, everyone, and particularly Pastor Whitlock, Reed Temple AME, as well as the Social Action Committee. Thank you so much for hosting this event. I am Barbara Holt-Streeter. I am your candidate for District 6 seat. I'm a wife, a daughter, a friend, and a Prince Georgian for over 50 years. I care and I'm committed to serving District 6 and the 100,000 residents that live here. I have a passion for students, for seniors, and small businesses with a focus to really push for our community, for increased public safety funding, expanding services for education, as well as supporting our small businesses with opportunities and to streamline the permit process. I want to make sure we provide services and resources to build our health and wellness initiatives. I am invested in this county. I'm a proud Prince George's graduate of our public schools, High Point High School. I also serve as the Director of Community Partnerships at PGCPS with over 136,000 students and 208 schools. And I'd like to say thank you to Reed Temple for their support with our grab-and-go groceries. I have worked and served in leadership and a member of First Baptist Church of Glenarden for over 25 years. I'm a solution-driven public servant. And with that, I have hosted countless events such as the Grab and Go, such as Grab and Go groceries, backpack giveaway and coats, and Stop and Shop, which I recently did about 2 years ago. I am privileged and honored to say that I have a master's in corporate communication, and I use that very well to stay connected to our community. I want to stay connected with our community, with our faith base, as well as when I served as a former adjunct professor with Prince George's Community College. My extensive experience, my public service experience allows me to look at ways that we can make sure the services that we do is reliable, accessible, and equitable for all residents of Prince George's County, but primarily, especially District 6. And I don't know if I need to add the community piece as well, the constituent services, because I think my time may be adding out.
Please feel free.
Okay. With our constituent acronym CAT, that's communication, consistent communication with our constituents. A is accountability. I have to be held accountable so our residents know who to reach out to, not only myself, but with my team as well. And T is transparency. It's important that whatever I say I'm going to do, I will do it. And then my constituents are able to follow up as well. Communication, accountability, and transparency. I thank you very much, and I hope to have your vote, and voice on July 19th. Barbara Holt-Streeter.
Thank you. And next we have Denise G. Smith. You are still muted.
Good afternoon. First, I want to give honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I also want to thank the Reed Temple family, my former family. I'm with Kingdom Fellowship now, for bringing us all together for this important event. My name is Denise Smith, and I am proudly running to be the next councilwoman for District 6 on the Prince George's County Council. I was born and raised in Prince George's County to a public school teacher and a police officer. I graduated from Suitland High School, Howard University, and American University. I have nearly 20 years of experience working in the Prince George's County government, and I've worked in the county executive's office where we work very closely with the county council on the budget and legislative priorities. I have worked at the agency level, and now I'm in the judicial branch where I serve as communications director for our state's attorney, the Honorable Aisha Braveboy. I'm running for office because I love Prince George's County. And I believe we have a real opportunity to create a booming economic powerhouse in our county. And I want to build upon the great progress that we've already made. Under the stellar leadership of State Senator and Senate President Pro Tem Melanie Griffith, the state of Maryland just delivered $400 million in bonding authority for Prince George's County. This is extraordinary during these unprecedented times. So what does this mean? Well, we have a brand new state-of-the-art and world-class hospital right in the heart of District 6. And these resources can be used to continue to build out the downtown Largo area and make it the Silicon Valley of healthcare services. We have the Metro Blue Line corridor where we can make historic investments around this transit hub. I will work with our county executive and our state legislative partners to leverage this historic investment. As the District 6 council member, focusing on the highest and best land use is also my priority. I will be a true advocate and make sure we have good stewardship of the resources in the county budget. I also will collaborate with our county executive and our state's attorney to come up with solutions to tackle crime in our communities. I hope that this gives you a little insight into who I am and that I will be your candidate of choice. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Belinda Queen.
Good afternoon to everyone. Again, as all the other candidates have said, thank you, Reed Temple, for always throwing on awesome forums and keeping residents and your church members engaged. Again, I am Belinda Queen. I am a candidate for District 6 County Council. I am the best candidate, and I'm going to give you a quick story of why I'm the best candidate. I have been elected by you, the people, twice. I've been elected to serve as your Democrat Center Committee member, and I've also been elected to serve as your school board representative right here in Prince George's County, where I was born and raised. I not only was raised and born here, but I raised 3 of my own kids, 21 kids in whole, which were 9 stepchildren, 11 foster children. I am grounded, I am invested, and I'm also a small business owner in Prince George's County. I'm ready to serve on day one. I have been transparent. I have been boots on the ground. I served on the Board of Education. I've also was the budget chair, and we handle 60% of the taxpayer dollars which came from the county council. I chair the current District 3 and 8 Police Coffee Circle, where I have volunteered doing this for over 13 years. I've kept the residents engaged and empowered and educated what's going on. I'm the current vice president of the Central Coalition of Prince George's County, where I've also served as intern in so many other offices, where we have fought. We have stood up. We have been the voice of the communities. We have worked with developers on what we wanted brought in our county. So I have been out here. I have proven accomplishments. We've had work with developers on Hampton Mall at Kingdom Square, and I can't wait for the new grocery store to open in the local senior center. I have worked with planning and designs to build the new state firehouse that's coming in District 6 on Shady Grove. I have worked with the West Bay Town Development and the closing of 3 landfills. I have worked and negotiated on Woodmore Town Center. I have worked with the BJ project, and actually I was one of the ones who recommended they bring Haven buses there. And unfortunately, I was one of the ones who actually wanted them to bring Bed Bath & Beyond, but disappointed in the fact that they closed up and left. But I worked tirelessly, volunteering my time, going to meetings to bring so many projects. I worked hard to make sure liquor stores were closed in our district that we didn't want, standing up and speaking out. We worked tirelessly to make sure that we secured 3 liquor licenses for the Ritchie Station, including over there by Olive Garden. And I continue to work on projects, and I will. My most pride and joy is Central High School. I have worked to make sure that the school in District 6 that is very outdated, matter of fact, was updated and renovated so when the kids came back. I have been boots on the ground. I will continue to work on these projects. I will continue to be boots on the ground. I will continue to be available to the residents to answer and to assist. And that's why I am the best candidate to serve and to work in District 6. And I am looking so forward to serving you guys in District 6. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And finally, we have Nakia R. Wright.
Good afternoon. Greetings and salutations to you, Reed Temple. Thank you so very much for hosting this platform on today. As you said, my name is Nakia R. Wright. I'm running to be your next county council member for District 6. If you are a resident of Forestville, Kettering, Largo, Mitchellville, parts of Bowie, Capitol Heights, and Upper Marlboro, I'm running for you. Here is where I was born and raised. I moved into District 6 when I was 18 years old, and now today at 47, 5 generations of my family live here, along with my greatest gifts, my husband, Bishop Donald Wright, my 2 children, and my grandbaby, Malia. As a Prince George's County Public School and college graduate with over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience, my parents taught me the value of investing where you live, learn, and work. I've spent my last 28 years in District 6 serving on the Faith-Based Advisory Board, creating partnerships with the faith community and the government entities, evaluating our community, facilitating community conversations, building stronger families, making connections, creating opportunities, and providing resources for small businesses, as well as serving our seniors, advocating for our youth, learning the value of our unions, and building bridges as a result of my platform. As a result of this, my platform is simple: family, finances, and securing our future. As your District 6 council member, my office will be set up to be a one-stop shop of information. I have a hands-on leadership style, one that is present and a consistent voice to each and every one of you, from town halls to monthly newsletters, staff outreach, email updates, a strong social media presence, in addition to constant contact with homeowners association, civic leaders, and quarterly meetings with residents and all levels of government. Our office, the District 6 office, will be the voice that is relatable, understandable, and is an amplifier for every city in our district. I am Nakia Wright. I am looking forward to sharing with you, growing with you. And Nikki is here to let me know that my 2 minutes is up, right, Nikki?
Yes, but please finish your sentence if you'd like.
I just want to let you know I'm here to serve with you. I gave you a brief snippet of my platform, along with what I would do for constituent service as a District 6 council member. My office will be here to serve you.
Thank you again to all of the candidates for your opening statements and answering that first question. We are now going to move on to Q&A. To remind you, you have 1 minute to answer each question, and we're going to go in the same order that we started with. So to begin, the first question is, what is your policy stance on controlling rent increases and providing residents rental assistance? And we're going to begin with Walla Begay.
Thank you for this question. I am definitely in support of rent control measures. I'm one of those where when my dad and I first moved to Prince George's County, the same apartment that we lived in, which was $800 a month, is now $1,600 a month. So it's doubled in price. So it has, we definitely need affordable housing. The biggest issue here is making sure that we either have permanent rent control where we have certain set aside certain affordable units, meaning that you any new development that they need to set aside affordable housing units that will be set aside for those low income and need. And that needs to be, that's implemented in a lot of the jurisdictions around us. We need to implement it in Prince George's County because some of the areas that were more affordable are not becoming affordable. In addition, just like the homestead tax credit, we can actually limit the amount that they can raise it every year for rent under 3%. A lot of surrounding jurisdictions look at less than 3% increase, very much like the homestead and tax credit. And we can implement that in Prince George's County in certain areas to make sure that there is not a huge rent increase over time. I definitely think it is essential and important that we make sure that we're not displacing our residents. We have a lot of residents that can no longer even buy here. So even in addition to rent control, in addition to rent stabilization policies, I would even be looking at making sure that we implement first-time home buyer programs, funding those to assist those that can buy homes in the county, so that we make sure that we don't have to have people moving to Charles County or surrounding jurisdictions in Southern Maryland because they cannot afford to buy in Prince George's County.
Thank you. Same question, Barbara Holt-Streeter, and I will reread the question for you. What is your policy stance on controlling rent increases and providing residents rental assistance?
Thank you so much for the question. I personally know and understand the need to make sure we maintain a rent that is affordable for not only our millennials, but also our seniors. I recently have one of my nieces have graduated, has returned home, and is now a teacher. So on a teacher's salary, unfortunately, she's not able to live on her own. And so we understand that now she has to have a roommate, which is her sister, but also understand the need of the seniors. So affordable housing is a necessity, not I would say what we want, but is what we need. When we look at affordable housing, I do understand that because my husband also is a property owner. So we understand that there are challenges with many families, and because the inflation may increase, but with that, your salary may not. So we have to look at policy in place that will be able to maintain a steady flow across the board, but also ensure that affordable housing is available for all people, not just individuals in one part of District 6, but across. As we begin to look at walkable and bikeable communities around the metro, we want to make sure that affordable housing is available for all.
Thank you. Same question to you, Denise Smith.
So thank you for the question. During the pandemic, I believe the county did a great job in providing rental assistance to those in need if they applied for the funds. I would like to continue to offer those type of wraparound services when life happens. And of course, we'll need funding for that. There's also another way to address the issue of affordable housing and rental assistance. There are incentives that can be offered through grants. For example, the faith-based and nonprofit communities can revitalize already existing buildings that are not in use. Developers and nonprofits can also take advantage of tax incentives if they offer to build low-income housing. And the county can explore working with the state to establish affordable housing trust funds. Not only would this address housing, but it fosters partnerships with nonprofits and creating jobs. And I believe that that's something that we can look at here and can benefit from here in Prince George's County.
Thank you. Same question to Belinda Queen.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that question, and that's a very important question because part of my platform for the people, the elders for livability, and livability includes wages and housing, and it is so very important. And unfortunately, I beg a difference with one of the candidates that I just don't feel that we were educated and engaged everyone else on the fact that it was a little bit of assistance, but it wasn't enough assistance for our seniors. I'm out here, as I stated, I'm boots on the ground. I hear our seniors complain about how hard it is really with their fixed income to afford some of these houses. The assistance may have helped some people with the rental assistance, but it didn't help all. It only helped the ones who wasn't getting a paycheck earned, but not the ones who was on fixed income. We have to find more ways. What I also realized is we got to help the next generation coming up. So that's why I'm really, the first thing when I get in office is that $15 minimum wage hour, so they can not only afford where they live at, but we also have to make sure that we have rent assistance and we have some type of rent control. I believe the candidate, as Ms. Begay said, making sure that new developments also have certain amount is get set aside, but also the developments for apartments that are already there. So we got to make sure that we have incentives and we have programs. And also, as you just said, Mr. Streeter, she has someone who's come back who's a teacher. We got to make sure that incentives in their programs and base and tax incentives that when they stay and they live and they work in Prince George's County, that it is so affordable, they do not want to cross the line to go anywhere else. We want everybody to enjoy to work where they live at, and we want to make sure that they're in Prince George's County, and we're giving them great incentives. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. And now the same question to Nakia R. Wright.
Very similar to CB 078-2020, where the council passed legislation that due to the pandemic, rent could not be increased more than 2%. I will work with my colleagues to ensure we provide legislation at all levels for rent stabilization, making sure that we provide what is necessary for our residents to remain here. In addition, I'll establish partnerships with organizations that do provide wraparound services to assist with any rental assistance. I'm a strong component of providing incentives for seniors, educators, and our public service officials. And District 6 is extremely unique. We have land for growth. After completing a comprehensive infrastructure analysis, I will make sure and work consistently to bring more affordable housing to Prince George's County. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry, Prince George's County, but to District 6 specifically.
Thank you to all of you for answering that question. Moving on to our second question. Regarding development plans in District 6, what efforts can be made to increase pedestrian and bike access and safety for the neighborhoods adjacent to new development? And we're going to start again with Wala Begay.
Well, thank you so much for this. This is a great question and goes into a lot of my focus on proper development in District 6. I would start by saying this. There's already a plan for this. It's the TOD plan for the Blue Line Corridor that talks about developing around metro stations. One thing I will be doing as a councilwoman is making sure we follow the plan. Plan 2035 goes into smart development. Smart growth in Prince George's County means building around those metro stations and making sure that we don't build in places that it's not, that is not designated for. And right now, walkable communities are designated for the areas around Addison Road, even Morgan Boulevard, which is not in District 6, but around District 6, and also Largo. Largo has been the main focus. It's time for us to start building walkable communities, bikeable communities all around there. And that is where the new development should be and not elsewhere. No, not elsewhere that is not designated. So right now, and of course, we are looking also at the Westphalia, which also we're talking about walkable communities and bikeable communities there. And I would start by saying this, Prince George's County has a Vision Zero project that's been focused on making sure that we can build bikeable and walkable communities. So the plan is already there and we need to follow it and make sure that we go along with what has been already designated, which is making sure that we bring down the fatalities, because the fatalities are high in Prince George's County because for pedestrians because of the lack of bikeable and walkable lanes. So following the TOD plan, building around the Blue Line Corridor, building around those metro stations, and that should be the focus for new development in District 6.
Thank you so much. Same question to Barbara Holt-Streeter.
Thank you so very much. When we talk about smart development, the key is making sure and understanding where that development is located. So we are able to share that with our residents. Oftentimes we hear on a regular basis, we don't know, we didn't know, how do we know? And so we have to be able to share with the residents where the smart development is. We talk about Blue Line Corridor. What is Blue Line Corridor? Where is it located? How is that bikeable and walkable? So most importantly, we have to educate and communicate with our residents. Right now in Lake Arbor Harbor area and right off of 202. We're building those trails. We're moving in that direction. But it's not just in this area. We have to do that across the board. Because of COVID, many cycling bicycle groups have created and have been developed. We want to keep those in place, but we also want to make sure we keep them safe from that standpoint, and working along with our public safety officials, police as well, to make sure that everyone is safe when it is a bikeable and walkable community. Because it's not, again, just for one area, it's across from the District Heights, Capitol Heights, Westphalia, and all the way up through Blue Line Corridor. Smart development is the key, so we can continue to keep the growth that has started, but continue to move forward in that such vein as well.
Thank you. Next, we have Denise Smith.
Thank you so much. So next Friday is Bike to Work Day. And I believe the county has been very proactive in addressing this issue. In fact, in 2013, the council established a pedestrian and bicycle safety work group. And as a bike enthusiast, I love riding my bike, and I've already seen major improvement in this area in District 6. In fact, the county has made significant improvements around our metro stations already with bike boxes and rails, and as mentioned, bike lanes in some of our areas already here in District 6. It's extremely important that we make these improvements as the downtown Largo continues to expand. And I would advocate for better roads, not only including the planning and design phases of projects, but also fixing our existing streets so that people feel comfortable riding on them. This includes making sure drivers are slowing down and increasing the safety and security of both drivers and bikers. We can accomplish this through a major public relations campaign to suggest change behaviors of drivers so that they pay more attention to the roads and drive in a way that the roads can be shared with bikers. And that's definitely something that we need to be focusing on here in Prince George's County. And just so you know, since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, have shifted. So plans that are already put in place may be a little bit obsolete. So we have to move with the times and adjust for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda Queen.
Thank you so very much. So, I beg a difference, and I hate to be begging a difference, but I'll be honest, I'm boots on the ground, and I'm hearing what the constituents saying. We've actually, and I hear Ms. Smith saying plans may be obsolete, but they're not. We took time to come to these meetings. A lot of us, some 2010 plan, 2020 plan, 2025, they have been heard. We're not getting paid like a lot of you guys who work for people to come, and we expect these plans, the people expect these plans to be put in place. Another thing, on March 18th, I was hit. So I believe a difference. The county still has not educated, engaging people enough. I was hit as a pedestrian with my grandbaby, trying to protect her, walking into the BJ shopping center. We have a long way to go. It had a little bit to do with COVID because people are sighted with driving, but it also had to do with, we have to make sure that we have more friendlier roadways where we have things to say, hey, slow down. You have people walking, you have bikes, that we have light flash. As a person on the school board, I got several calls for several people worried about their babies crossing the street, trying to get to elementary school because people want to rush to work. We have a ways to go. So again, I beg a difference. We have a ways to go when it comes to bicycle safety and the pedestrian safety. And I'm very passionate when it comes to my babies. And I would love to see my seniors out there walking. But right now, until we get where we need to be in Prince George's County, it's not going to happen.
Thank you. On to Nakia R. Wright.
If I am correct, the question pertains to new development. So in response to your question, what I will say is, as a council member, I would make sure that I work with the developers of the new housing communities to ensure that bike lanes are put in, and it'll be and align with recently Prince George's County did their very first strategic roadway safety plan, and it was modeled after Maryland's strategic highway safety plan, which is how we developed Vision Zero, which took in did the analysis of bicycling and car crashes and pedestrian accidents. I'll take all of those in consideration, and I'll make sure that I work with developers to ensure that we do have walkways. I'm an avid walker. I'm a little clumsy. I'm not as great of a bicycler, but we have what pathways for bicyclers to have. It increases a healthy lifestyle. So I'm a strong component for it. And we're already considering it in a major way around transit-oriented development. We're ensuring that transit-oriented development is a compaction of mixed-use development, housing, essential services, businesses, and walkways, so that we can decrease the traffic on the roads and increase walking and biking. So there is already a plan in place. As a council member, I'll work to oversee and make sure that it is implemented. The only way that we're going to see change is if we are consistent and we actually oversee it. So I'm looking forward to doing so. And I'm looking forward to learning how to ride a bike at 47 years old. Denise, I may need a little help since you're an avid biker.
Ms. Thompson, since my name was mentioned, do I get a chance to respond to the candidate that disagreed with me?
We're going into closing statement. So if you'd like to add anything in your closing statement, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, I will do so. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. And as mentioned, we are now going to go to our closing statements, where each candidate is able to share their platform and add anything that they did not share either during the answering of their questions or their opening statement. They have 2 minutes, and we're going to go in the same order and start with Walla Bouquet. You are muted.
Sorry, I keep forgetting. Thank you so much for today. This was a very it was very enlightening to just hear from others and just even hear other candidates. So thank you for actually letting voters know who we are. I would say this: I am a proven advocate. I've had results for those in our community, from my show chat with the lawyer, from my advocacy for nurses, for my advocacy for those in the community. Many can say that they have seen my work, and that is why they're supporting me. So I look forward to representing District 6. It's time, and I didn't talk a lot about economic development because I was trying to keep within the time, but it's time for quality development in District 6. We live in beautiful communities, but we need the amenities to support us. So many of us leave Prince George's County to do so much, from living, from playing, from working. It's time to bring business industries to Prince George's County. The plans, as stated here, the plans have been set. The plans are current. It's time for us to follow them. It's time for us to bring quality development to Prince George's County and expand the commercial tax base, because our taxes are high in Prince George's County. And what we need to do is bring commercial development to bring down the weight of taxes on homeowners. So I am committed to that. And I've spoken about that all throughout District 6. I've been knocking on many doors, over 7,000 doors in District 6, to make it clear my vision. And I would say this: when we do all of those things, we can address affordable housing. We can address support for seniors. We can address rent control, all of the things that we talked about today. It takes money, and we need the money. We had $2.5 billion came to Prince George's County for many projects, and $400 million came for the Blue Line Corridor, which is in District 6. So it's time to actually put that money to work and make sure we get more. $400 million is not enough to do all the things that we're going to do. But I will tell you one thing: whatever the citizens sat for years putting the plans together, and I would not be one to move away from the plans. Westphalia sector plan, I'm sticking to that. Blue Line Corridor, I'm sticking to that. The Plan 2035, I'm sticking to that, because those are the plans that were part of the District 6 residents making their statement about what they want. And I have an open door policy, just as I've been an advocate, open to anyone who's calling me, asking them to be able to bring lawyers to them, bring information to them. I would do the same as a council member. My door will be open. We will be having weekly meetings in the communities, town hall meetings, making sure that no new development comes without making sure that we hear the voice of the voters. I am your voice, and I look forward to representing you in District 6. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder to our candidates to unmute before you begin your closing statement. And now we will move to Mrs. Streeter.
Thank you again, Reed Temple and the Social Action Committee, for this opportunity, and the ones who are joining us today. As shared, I am Barbara Holt Streeter, and I want to be your next county council member. I will push for the policies that best represent the individuals that I serve in this district, from legislation for zoning for smart development. And the key is smart development of land and health services and programs. I want to continue to work with our current and previous administration, what they have put in place for the Blue Line Corridor. As mentioned, it is $400 million. That is the highest we've ever received. Now let's take that and be able to utilize that to the best to make sure we serve all of our District 6. I want to continue to provide walkable and bikeable communities. The entertainment and retail will be around the Blue Line Corridor. I want to make sure we provide consistent, as I mentioned earlier, the CAT, communication, accountability, and transparency to our residents. I want to inform and educate. Keep them informed of what's going on. Not that they should hear about it walking or driving down the highway. I've been a public servant in every level of government, from federal, state, local, and county, as well as working now in Prince George's County Public Schools. When I serve as a public servant, I am through and through serving for you with a passion for people. I support affordable housing for our millennials and our seniors and our veterans. We cannot forget our veterans, the work that they've done for us and as they continue to do. I'm an advocate for increased funding for our nonprofits, particularly the ones who are supporting our youth. 95% of our businesses in Prince George's County are small businesses. We have to make sure we provide funding, increase funding for them, I should say, and be able to provide that support. As a county council member, I will continue to do that. I will continue to work with them, with all of our partners, our faith-based partners, our HOA, and our public safety officials, so we can be a group together with connection and collaboration. I want to ensure the life-changing resources that are available for everyone. It's equitable, it's available, and it's accessible. I am Barbara Holtstreeter. And on July 19th, I want your vote and your voice so I can be your next county council member. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And next we have Denise Smith.
Thank you so much. And before I close, I just want to ensure and make a point of clarification. At no point did I say that our roads don't need improvement or safety measures need to continue to be in place. What I did say is that we are making great progress. Yes, we do still have more to do, but the county is being proactive already, and we are seeing a difference already. As in closing, as a lifelong resident with my education and background, and going on 20 years of experience working in the Prince George's County government, I am well prepared and ready to serve and be a voice for District 6 residents and businesses on the council. I will make sure your voices are heard, and as your representative, your needs and concerns will be of utmost importance and taken seriously. If you want someone who knows the role of the council, you need Denise Smith. If you want someone who understands the budget process, that is Denise Smith. I will make sure your tax dollars are not wasted under my watch. I will maximize the investments that we make in our public school system. And I will make sure that our police have what they need to keep us, our homes, businesses, and our communities safe. District 6 is home to Prince George's Community College, which is one of the best community colleges in the state and a great resource to build out and train healthcare providers. We have great residents, businesses, and opportunities to make sure everyone is included in the greatness of Prince George's County. And I promise to lead with integrity, compassion, and vision. Today, I'm not only asking for your vote, but I'm pledging my commitment to providing exceptional leadership for the Prince George's County residents of District 6. Again, I'm Denise Smith, and I'm here to earn your vote.
Thank you. And next we have Belinda Queen. We will move on to Nakia Wright, and then we will go back to Belinda Queen.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. District 6 is the heart of Prince George's County. It is my goal to ensure that I work with all levels of government to assure that we continue to move our district and county forward. The voices of my community says that we need to know our elected officials. We need to see you. I plan to be the answer you have asked for. In a quick summation, 90% of my donations have come from you, District 6 residents. I have knocked on over 15,000 doors, sent 2 mailers, held numerous meet and greets in every part of our district, acquired over $100,000 in grant monies for small businesses over the past year, conducted 2 community cleanups, served workers from the Bakers Union when they were out striking, conducted 2 customer service training sessions to improve the quality of service you receive in our district, held food giveaways in food desert areas, and so much more. District 6, we are on the road to becoming the next Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle Park. The Life and Health Sciences Corridor is here. We have the Blue Line Corridor coming, where 90% of the sports and entertainment hub will be right here in our district. We are on the path of becoming the Mecca of our county. District 6, you need a strong, courageous leader to see that we have the grocery stores that we've asked for, the upscale dining that we can afford, the high-end retail stores, so that we won't continue taking billions of our dollars to other districts. From the day I casted my ballot, my vote, to say that I was running for county council, I've worked and will continue to work to earn your vote. I'm committed to you by preparing for tomorrow, by doing the work today. It's time to elect a fresh voice on the county council. Therefore, I ask you to vote for me, Nakia R. Wright, on July 19th. Be sure to follow me on my social media pages at Nakia R. Wright, and visit me online at NakiaRWright.online. Reed Temple, thank you for providing this platform. Thank you for being a beacon in our community. And thank you so very much for allowing us to share our voices.
Thank you. And now we have Belinda Queen.
Thank you so very much. Again, I am Belinda Queen, and I am the candidate, the best candidate choice for District 6. I'm prepared to serve on day one. I am prepared to make sure that each and every community in District 6 reaches full potential. I'm a leader who stands up, who speaks out, and who works hard with other leaders to move our county forward, and especially District 6, if you have heard before. So just let you know a little bit about my platform, Belinda Queen for the people. My platform is for the people. You will see all over. P stand for public safety, E stand for education, O stand for opportunity for small business, P stand for public works for improved community services, L stand for livability, wages, and housing, E stand for economic development. I want to work together with you to make sure that District 6 is a place where we live and no one wants to leave. Today's residents and our future depends on us, and it depends on you voting to make sure that you send the right candidate, a candidate who has proven leadership that you can trust. It is not a time to take a chance on someone. We've had too many broken promises from too many leaders who came before us. Too many people have came before us and made promises, and they failed on their promises. But you can look at my record as I've served on the Democrat Center Committee, as I've served on the Board of Education. I've shown you with proven leadership that I am a leader who stands up and speaks out, and my vote will always be for the people, and I will always do right by the people. There's a lot that needs to be done in District 6, and I believe that we can do it together. Yes, affordable development is needed, and it would have to come so we can make sure that our taxes are lower. But we also need to make sure that we're holding people accountable to make sure they're paying the taxes and the fees, and especially these developments that needs to be paid, especially for our school system. We can no longer listen, again, as I'm going to say it again, we can no longer listen to the promises that have been made by so many. I will say again that I am Belinda Queen. And when you go to the ballot on June the 7th to June the 14th, do your research. You want to vote for Belinda Queen, a person who is for the people. We have great candidates, and I want to say to each and every one of my sisters, I'm so glad to have you in the race. And I know you all have something you bring to the table. I can say we have one candidate who brings education, but guess what? Belinda Queen stands for education. Another candidate who comes and she brings the opinion of working hard for labor and union and for the people. But guess what? Belinda Queen is for the people, done that as a union stood. Another candidate who's working hard as a first lady, and she's standing up and speaking for the churches. But guess what? Belinda Queen has done that on so many occasions. And then we have another candidate who we have running who's working hard for the small businesses. I get it. I understand, but I've done that. everything these candidates are running for, the four other candidates, it's all in one. I am that one. So vote for the Queen on July the 19th. Have a good one, and thank you so very much.
Thank you again to our candidates from District 6. We're going to move on to District 7. And only one candidate from the District 7 race responded to our invitation, so we will not be asking questions. However, we will have a recorded message from District 7 County Council candidate Crystal Oriva.
Hi, I'm Crystal Orieva. I am an organizer and advocate, and I've been working on both the national and local stage for over 10 years. In just the last 2 years, I've helped to build a nonprofit that is dedicated to giving over $1 million to meet the needs of Prince George's County residents. And now I am asking for your support as I run for County Council District 7. I'm running because I really believe that our communities deserve more. We deserve a better quality of life, access to affordable housing, access to community-based development. I don't want to see just liquor stores and tobacco stores on every corner. I want to make sure that we have grocery stores, places to eat and shop right inside of our district. We need to make sure that we have clean and safe streets. We need to make sure that we focus on economic recovery. So many people have suffered during the pandemic, and even some before, but we can do something about it. Looking at investing and creating living wage jobs in our community, really focusing on growing our small minority-owned businesses, creating that access no matter where you live to food security, mental health care, healthcare, and housing. That's a start to recovering our communities. We also need to make sure that we invest in the next generation. We need after-school programs that are free for our youth, expansion of our summer jobs programs. We also need to pay our teachers more because we need to ensure that we have the best and the brightest and that they're paid what they're worth for shaping the minds of the next generation. Expanding trades in our school system because college might not be for everyone, but creating that opportunity that as soon as you graduate, you have the opportunity to have a living wage job. We need better constituent services. And though that can sound simple, it sometimes isn't. We need to just ensure that when our community calls, we answer and we listen. And so I'm hoping that you will join us on this journey as we build this people-powered campaign. If you want to know more about me, why I'm running, or to join this team, you can visit us at www.electcrystalorieva.com. I'm excited about what we can do together. So I hope to see you on the door soon. Thanks.
This morning. Hallelujah. 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 Come on, I dare you to cry out this morning. Hallelujah. Come on, think of his goodness to you. Think of his goodness to you. Hallelujah, God. Come on, if it had not been for the Lord on your side, hallelujah. Think about where you would be this morning. Think about the Lord's brand new mercies each and every day. Think about his grace that covers us from day to day. Hallelujah, God. Hallelujah. Yakta. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah, Jesus. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah, Jesus. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Mighty God. Hallelujah, Jesus. We bless you, O Lord. We bless you, O Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Hi, I'm Dania Lofton, your Prince George's County Council candidate for District 8. As a professional mental health policy advocate, I have successfully advocated for mental health policies to support youth, adults, and aging adults at the federal and state levels. My volunteer experience here includes working with local community organizations to support our communities by creating, developing, and organizing programs. I've also facilitated civic engagement and advocacy workshops, provided pro bono immigration legal services, and advocated for and donated to local schools with purchases from local businesses. If elected to the county council, here's what I'll support. Access to affordable housing to keep families, individuals, and aging adults in their homes. Economic development to attract more businesses that reflect the needs and desires of our community, as well as supports workforce growth and development programs for our residents. Tax relief for aging adults, military families, and veterans. Quality healthcare service for District 8 and Prince George's County residents. Public safety initiatives and programs for the safety of all residents and visitors. Smart growth community development to protect our environment, health, and stimulate economic development. And while we're talking about economic development, I want to ensure that we have a quality education system to support more businesses coming to our county. I also want to share, I'm an Oxon Hill resident, as well as a member of Alfred Street Baptist Church, and a member of the Fort Washington alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You can learn more about me and my priorities by visiting my website at www.danialofton.com. That's www.danialofton.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that I'll have your vote on July 19th. Forward together with District 8 and Prince George's County. Thank you.
And before we move to District 9, I just want to share that we shared the video from Dania Lofton because she is the only candidate that responded to our invitation as we had done with previous candidates. So now we move on to District 9, which is our last district for the afternoon. And I am going to start by introducing the candidates for District 9. We have Lisa Burnham and Ernest Cantless. And before we go into questions, we are going to let the both of you do an opening statement for 2 minutes, and we will begin with Lisa Burnham.
I thank you so much. I do appreciate the opportunity to speak today. So my name is Lisa Burnham, and I am running to represent the District 9 community on the Prince George's County Council. I have nearly 20 years of professional experience working in advocacy and independently organizing to get public support for policies benefiting working people. I live in the beautiful Accokeek in South County, and I am a PGCPS mom. I have 2 children, a 5-year-old and a 16-month-old, and my very supportive and loving husband. I am running because I think that all of the crises facing our world, facing our nation, we're seeing a microcosm of it within Prince George's County Council. Prince George's County. And so I want to make sure that our communities are prepared to face, prepared to face a lot of the challenges that are coming and that are here right now. So we are seeing insane inflation. We're seeing cost of living skyrocketing, but wages aren't able to keep up. If you feel safe in the middle class, it just takes one person losing their job for your entire life to be destabilized. So we need to put policies in place that ensure that our families are protected whenever life happens. So some of the things that I'm fighting for is making sure that our childcare system is repaired. The cost of childcare is extremely high. And so I want to make sure that we're expanding the criteria that allow for families at all income levels to access childcare benefits so that we can bring down those costs. I want to make sure that regardless of whether or not you have a job, you have access to healthcare. So I would like to see a county-backed healthcare plan. I also think that we need to make sure, especially in South County, we have more hospitals. We should have some county-owned hospitals. We should expand the amount of community clinics that are here so that people have access to primary care services, mental health services, despite where they live. We shouldn't have to go all the way to Largo and to North County or to Alexandria just to get quality health care. So these are things that we can do. We need to expand affordable housing for folks who have who are low income, but also for our seniors and just for people who maybe don't want to pay 60% of their wages to housing alone. I want to bring more quality food to South County in particular. We are in a food desert. We have a lot of fast food restaurants, but we don't have enough organic grocery. We don't have enough healthy food restaurants, but we have the means to do that. So we need to incentivize more small businesses and more middle-sized businesses that can offer those services, but also bring quality to our residents. And I want to also make sure that the communities have a say in how it's shaped. So I want to also establish residential advisory commissions that are at the table when these policies are made. It shouldn't just be on the day that we vote that we have a say in what's happening in our county. We also have to make sure that every day of the year, residents are able to weigh in and talk about what they like, what they don't like, and what their vision is for the future. So there's a lot of things that I want to do, and you can learn more about my platform by going to www.lisa4pg.com. Thank you so much, and I look forward to being your representative.
Thank you. And my apologies, I forgot to ask the first question that we've asked of all the candidates to share what their plan is to improve constituent services in their district. So I'll turn it back to you, Ms. Burnham, to answer that question. She answered the question. So I will go to Mr. Canlis, Ernest Canlis. Same question. What is your plan to improve constituent services, and also provide us with your opening statement? And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much. So that's a simple question. The constituent services is if you're not performing constituent services at this level of office, then you really shouldn't be in office. Because addressing residents' concerns is an important county service. In fact, it is the core responsibility of the county council and the legislative branch of government. To accomplish this vital function, you need to have adequate staff. That staff needs to be in tune with myself in the mission and goals to produce outstanding services. And if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, I will begin that on day one. Thank you.
Thank you. Now moving on to our Q&A. The first question is, what is your plan for ensuring future development protects historical landmarks and sustains natural resources in District 9? And we're going to start with Lisa Burnham.
Thank you for that question. I think it will be extremely important for us to, whenever there is a development project, that there is an impact assessment done, and that we also make sure that during the development of those plans, community members are involved in that process. So there are places that may be historically marked, but there may be other places that are just seen as valuable to the local community. And so what I want to make sure of is that everyone, within my district, where their communities may be impacted, are notified and are able to participate in public discussions around how that area will be developed. In addition to that, the developers, have to make an agreement, as part of the proposal to protect those areas and ensure that they're protected and that our environment is prioritized. We have a climate action plan, right? And so it's really important that whatever these standards are, depending on what it is, whatever those standards are, that they are implemented in the development proposal. So at every point of the process, residents are involved in the development, they're communicated with, and then I should be held accountable. When there should be regular reports on how the development is going. It should be clear who is actually managing the development. A lot of times you see, developments popping up, but you don't actually know the company that's doing the development. You don't always know when it's going to be completed. The process for that is not transparent. And so it will be extremely important for me to make sure that everyone is a part of that process, and that there's a place on, the county website where you can track those developments, and that there are channels for residents to raise concerns about how things are progressing, or just inquire about where we are in the process. So that is something that is extremely important to me. And again, if you go to www.lisa4pg.com, you can see more about my plans for making sure that residents are included in all of our development work. Thank you.
Same question to you, Mr. Canlis, and I'll repeat it. What is your plan for ensuring future development projects protect historical landmarks and sustain natural resources in District 9?
Thank you for that question. So in regards to that, we would work in unison with the Park and Planning Commission in regards to protecting the historical landmarks. I think it would be very important to be involved early in a development process to ensure the development is a smart development that will be done to protect historical landmarks and natural resources such as trees and possible bodies of water. To require that only the minimum of the necessary trees are taken down if necessary to bring this development up. It's a matter of the office doing its due diligence for the betterment of the residents of District 9, and also in regards to that, these developments, developers rather, have skirted around the public review process, going through the county council using zoning text amendments. And if I'm fortunate enough to get in, that will end. Everything would have to go through the proper public review process. Thank you.
Thank you. On to our second question. What are your plans for addressing traffic congestion and safety in District 9? And we will again start with Ms. Burnham.
Thank you for that question. It is really critical that we do a lot more to invest in speed enforcement, particularly in South County. We have a real problem with speeding. I mean, it's true through a lot of the district, but here it's more rural, at least in the part where I am, and it's very scary for people. We have also by our schools there aren't enough signs. As I said, I'm a PGCPS mom, and my daughter goes to a school where there are no sidewalks and that there are a lot of trucks that race down the road during pickup and drop off. I think that we need more ordinances that prevent trucks from driving during a certain time. We need more road signs that control which types of vehicles can go during certain parts of the day. And we need, again, we need more fines, and again, and more stricter enforcement of speed. I think that we have far too many fatalities as a result of traffic, just our traffic. And when we're developing our roads, we have to consider that, we actually need less cars on the road. So we need to have more investments in public transportation. We need to find ways to get fewer personal vehicles off the road and more mass transit. We have a transit challenge here in South County as well. So, I'm definitely in support of building out more transit options. That includes bicycles, that includes increasing our walkability. We need more sidewalks, especially in the unincorporated areas, and a lot of the older communities. We don't have enough sidewalks, so we need more of that. We need more opportunities for people to commute without using the roads. But again, for the worst offenders, which includes, racers, but also speeding trucks, we need accountability. And corporations, in particular, developers who are sending these trucks, at these big developments, they need to be fined very heavily if those trucks are causing, either cause fatalities, cause crashes, or are just destroying the road due to their speed, because that's what happens a lot as well. People's cars and tires get tore up because the quality and conditions of the road. And just connected to this, we definitely need to have more responsiveness from the Department of Public Works and Transportation. A lot of people, complain about the road quality, and we don't get a response. So one of my priorities would be to audit that department to figure out how we can deliver more effective, efficient services to the residents of District 9.
Thank you. And to Mr. Canlis, the same question. What are your plans for addressing traffic congestion and safety in District 9?
Thank you. So first of all, I would like to say that I am not anti-development, but rather I am a proponent of smart development. Any development needs to provide adequate infrastructure for our roads to alleviate traffic congestion in District 9. And again, I'm going back to that the county council often uses zoning text amendments to rewrite the zoning ordinances that allows developers to advance certain projects without going through a transparent public review process. And again, if I am fortunate to be elected, there will be no exceptions to that transparent public review process, 0 exceptions. Furthermore, I am committed to follow up on the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit project that will go from Branch Avenue all the way down to White Plains. That is a huge transit that would alleviate much of the traffic going down through the heart of District 9 in Route 5, 301. Also, in regards to that transit, I would like to introduce a program to offer financial incentives for the residents to take public transit going to and from work rather than putting their personal vehicles on a road. I think that would that transit would alleviate much of the traffic in District 9. As far as safety, I've worked with the police department for many, many years. I've served as secretary of the Citizens Advisory Council, and I would work, number one, to get more police officers in the District 5 division so that we can monitor safety speeds more adequately within the district. So working with the police department in regards to safety, as well as SHA, State Highway Administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Canlis. And now we are going to move on to our closing statements for each candidate. And we will begin again with Ms. Burnham.
I just want to say thank you so much again, Reed Temple, for the opportunity to speak with voters who I may not have otherwise connected with. Again, I am running to represent the District 9 community because this is this isn't a career move for me. I work at a public policy organization, and I manage our part of our communications program. And I'm doing this because I genuinely care about the development of our community. I feel that Prince George's County has a lot of resources, but they're not allocated well. And I think that, especially as I meet voters, there are a lot of incredible people who have been here for a very long time, who have a really good eye on what this community needs, but it doesn't make it to the county council. There isn't enough transparency, there isn't enough inclusiveness, and there aren't enough forward-thinking policies to meet the needs of the moment. I am for a $25 living wage. It's not just because people should have more money, but it's because actually it costs. Maryland is the 7th most expensive state in the country. The reality is that, it's expensive as hell to live in Prince George's County. A lot of people have been displaced from the DC area and they've come to Prince George's County, but the costs continue to rise and they're being displaced further. And I think that it is incumbent on leadership wherever we are to make a plan to keep people in their homes and to allow people to thrive. So that means providing a wage that they can not just live on, but they can have a family and they can raise their family here. We want people to live here, but also work here, retire here, and that isn't happening. So if we raise the living wage and we create an ecosystem of policies that bring down the cost of living by bringing affordable childcare, affordable housing, making sure that we are leveraging the strengths of this district, in particular, District 9. We have the most land mass. We have the most land. We should be investing in, growing more jobs, but it should look like green jobs. We should have more CSAs. We should make sure that we have a food policy that is reflective of the moment. We have climate change. Our county, our state is surrounded by water. What are we going to do? Right? This is my question. We need to answer the question rather. What are we going to do about that? And we have an answer. It's a climate action plan. But I want to make sure that it is implemented equitably, right? So I want to make sure that we have climate policies. I want to make sure that our school system is fully funded. We're the richest Black county in the country, but our school system is not reflective of that. And we need to make sure that it is, because we're doing a disservice to our teachers, to our support staff, and most certainly to our young scholars. We need to make sure that we have innovative programming. We need to make sure that our children are being set up for success and have the skills that they need to be wonderful representatives of this wonderful community. So I'm running because I genuinely believe that I can work with everyone. That's my son in the background. If you hear a child screaming, I am a mom. That I can work with everyone to bring equitable policies to Prince George's County.
Thank you so much. And we will close with a closing statement from Mr. Ernest Canlis.
Thank you. So I am Ernest Canlis. I'm a born and raised Prince Georgian. Prince George's County Public Schools educated. I served in the United States Navy, and I'm currently a proud U.S. Marine father to my 20-year-old son. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. I'm a father of 5 children and a grandfather of 1. I currently serve on the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee, representing Legislative District 25, and I am also a multicultural commissioner for the state's attorney's office. I always have been and always will be for the people and not the politics. I would like to thank the Reed Temple as well as the James Lay organization for hosting this important forum that allows voters to see and hear the candidates that's running for particular offices within their district. I'd also like to congratulate all of the participants who had the courage to participate in this forum this afternoon. It's been my pleasure I'm honored to even receive the invitation to participate. And so I would just say that I believe that I am the best candidate for this position simply because I have done the work in the community for many years. I did not just start this overnight. I've been working and trying to better our community for many years. And I know firsthand what is lacking as far as having adequate representation. And that's why I'm running, because I always have been and always will put the people before the politics. I do not want to work for you. I want to work with you. I don't have many promises to make, but I will commit to working hard for the betterment of all District 9 residents. I commit to not raising taxes, but to try to stabilize our taxes. I commit to improving our youth activities within District 9. I commit to engaging with the District 9 residents. Most of all, I commit to providing transparency to the constituents of District 9. I'm confident in my abilities to engage with the residents of District 9 and have no reason to hide behind other elected officials when I'm out and about and within the district because of my confidence in myself. My campaign is a total grassroots, a boots on the ground campaign for the people and not the machine politics that have plagued our county for decades. And I humbly ask for your vote in the primary election on July 19th. Thank you.
Thank you again to all of our candidates for joining us this afternoon. I also want to thank our pastor, Pastor Whitlock, for his opening statement, and also again to our chair of the James A. Parker Lay Social Action Committee, Lynette Cosby, who will be doing our closing statement. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you so much for coming and listening and paying attention and staying on this long for our first candidate forum. My name is Lynette Cosby. I am the second vice president of the James A. Parker Lay Organization and the Reed Temple AME Church Social Action Chair. I want to thank also Pastor Mark Whitlock for his leadership, the James A. Parker Lay Organization President Paulette Armstrong, and Sister Quintina Brown, and all of the lay members for your support. Our tech crew that's been in the background working very hard, John Moody and the visual suite, and also the moderator, Jessica and Nikki, all of the candidates that's come on or that sent their response and sent their recording, and everyone that's here on the line. Thank you so much. We can't do any of this without a team, and this team has been wonderful. I want you all to continue to check out the candidates platform, go to their websites or their social media, and so that you can vote informed. We want you to vote informed, not blind. Early voting starts on July the 7th, so you have plenty of time to get to know who you're going to vote for. The primary for the Democratic primary is on July 19th. There also could be mail-in ballots if you still are concerned about being around people for the coronavirus. Mail-in ballots should be coming soon. If you don't want to be out and you want to get a mail-in ballot, then you can, if you don't get it in the mail in a couple of weeks, contact the Prince George's County Board of Elections so that they can send you one. Finally, your vote is your voice. As Fannie Lou Hamer says, when I liberate myself, I liberate others. If you don't speak out, ain't nobody going to speak for you. I hope to see you next week when we continue our Candidate Forum series with Candidate Forum 2, and that is going to be for the County Council at Large and the County Executive. Thank you for coming, and you all have a blessed day. Goodbye.